Telecommunications manager Ken Thomas is suing his neighbors, Beverly and Roy DiBiaso. Ken says the couple's son, 15-year-old Christopher, kicked a dent into the side of his car. Christopher says Ken ran him over, breaking his foot. The DiBiasos are countersuing for damages incurred.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 362 on the calendar in the matter of Thomas versus DiBiaso. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks have seats.
Mr. Thomas, you and the defendants live on the same block?
We're relative neighbors, Your Honor. I
Okay.
drew a sketch of our neighbor.
Just listen.
Okay.
You live on the same block?
Yes.
How many houses apart?
About a half mile apart.
It is your claim the defendant's sons have these motorized bikes?
Yes.
And were riding up and down the street and had been at an excessive rate of speed.
Yes, they
you
were
have
doing.
young children. I assume that this is one of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And on one particular day, after confronting the boys, one of them kicked your car, causing a dent.
Yes.
You want the defendant, father, mother, to pay for that, the damage to the car. Mr. and Mrs. DiBiaso say that, yes, it's true that one of their sons did kick your car, but it was only after you ran over his son.
That's ridiculous. Sorry.
Only after you ran over his son, breaking his foot, crushing his foot, that son kicked your car.
That's correct.
And they are countersuing for all of the medical bills and pain and suffering. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
So I want you two to sit down. And I want these boys to stand up. Put that down. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm not very good at those things. I'm good at finding out the truth. Who kicked the car?
It was me, Your Honor.
Perfect. Your name?
Chris.
What kind of a motorized bike were you riding that day?
1999 Yamaha 125.
And when did you get it?
I got it 2 days prior to when this took place.
Had you had a bike before that?
Several years before that.
Now, you knew Mr. Thomas from before, is that right?
I've never actually met him. I've seen him.
But you've seen him?
Yes.
You knew he was a neighbor?
Yes.
What day did you get the bike?
I think it was the 2nd of, I believe, August.
And what day did you break your foot?
2 days after, so it would be the 4th.
And when for the first time did Mr. Thomas ask you to drive slower when going up and down the street?
He had never asked me to drive slower.
Is that correct?
Prior to this day, I had not, and this day was August 1st when all this happened.
So you had to have gotten the bike before that, sir.
Okay, I'm not
July
completely...
30th.
July
It was
30th.
July 30th.
Okay. Now, let's go to August 1st. You and your brother are both riding your bikes?
Yeah, me and him had rode down...
Is that right?
Yes.
When did Mr. Thomas, for the first time that day, tell you to slow down?
He had not told us to slow down at all.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay. So I get to Mr. Thomas. You want to tell me your version of what happened on the 1st of August?
Yes, it was about 8 o'clock at night. These boys had been riding up and down the street. It seemed like a few hours. And like I said, there had been prior history where my kids couldn't go out and ride their bikes on the street, so...
No. Slowly. Mr. Thomas, don't lose me. You said there'd been a prior what?
The prior times when they'd been riding their bikes up and down in front of our house.
You mean the day before that, perhaps?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that evening I'd had enough of it, so I drove my car out onto the street. We have a large 1-acre yacht, so I drove my car out onto the street to stop them, to get their attention, to tell them they need to slow down. If they need to, they have to go past our house to get to where the dirt roads are. So I wanted them to slow down and talk to them. They didn't stop. They split. They went around my car, and they stopped about 100 feet farther down, which is where my driveway was. So I drove down to them, and I started to get out of the car. Chris's motorcycle was right next to my door, and he was on it. And I said, you guys have got to stop this. I've got small kids. You can't go by here that fast. He used some expletives.
Tell me what he said. I've heard everything.
He said, this is our street. We can do whatever we want.
No.
We can.
Listen, I want you to be quiet. You weren't there. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. That sounds about right.
He said,
Go ahead.
we can do whatever we want, and you can't stop us. I was very angry, and I said, you've got to stop this. I've got small kids. I don't want you doing this. I'm going to go down and tell your parents. And I got back in my car. He drove his motorcycle around behind me. I went to back up, and I was just going to say, all right, enough. They took off, and I went about a foot, and I saw that he hadn't come around behind me, so I stopped the car. Okay, I looked out the back, and he was standing up lifting his motorcycle up.
So he was behind you and you knocked his motorcycle down.
Well, after talking to my wife, no, he had laid his motorcycle down behind me. There was a small scratch from his tire on the bumper of my car, and I have photographs of that, which shows that there was very minor damage to my car, so there could not have been significant damage to him.
I don't know
or
if there
his
was
motorcycle.
significant damage or not,
Right.
but
I did
clearly
bump him
your
with my
car
car.
came in contact
Yes.
with his motorcycle.
Yes.
Now, my question is, was it the back of your car that came in
Yes.
contact with his motorcycle or
Yes,
the
it
front
was.
of your
The
car?
back bumper.
Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now, stop there. You want to tell me how the back of his car came into contact with your bike?
Me and my brother had rode down the street going towards Mr. Thomas's house because our friend lives at the end of the street, which is the dirt road where we usually ride at. We found out he wasn't home, and on the way back, we were going down the shoulder of the road, and he comes blaring out of his driveway in a manner of what I suspected to try to knock me off my motorcycle. I had swerved to miss him, and I ended up in the middle of the street. He had drove around me. I got up, started my bike again. As I started to take off, he backed his car over me, looked at me and said, "That's what you get."
But just a minute. Are you telling me that he never said to you, you got to slow down?
Your Honor, he never said one word to us.
Is that right?
That is correct.
When his car hit your bike, you say it knocked it over?
It knocked it over and it put my foot underneath his tire.
It's not physically possible.
No, that didn't happen.
Something.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You almost had me. You almost had me, Christopher. But I'm telling you right now, if you lie to me about something, and I don't care what you told them or what you decided to testify to today, I don't care. You almost had me. But if you lie to me, and I don't believe anything that you say.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was in my face with his finger.
He was mad. He had had it.
He got in his car and it threatened my dad to a fight.
He's too old for me to deal with. He's already cooked. You're not.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ken Thomas says neighbor 15-year-old Christopher DiBiaso kicked a dent into the side of his car. Christopher says Ken ran him over and broke his foot.
Listen, he was, up until a moment ago, in my mind, not telling me the truth. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
About not having a discussion with you. Now, he knocked your bike down with his car.
Yes.
And what did you do next?
After he pulled forward to get me so I could get up, I picked my bike up, pushed it to the side of the street, started up, and proceeded home.
So you got on your bike.
Yes.
You put your feet on the pedals.
It's Kickstarter and pegs, yes.
You put your feet on the pedals.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you drove the bike home.
I rode the bike home.
And then what happened?
I limped in the house to get my dad, and my dad came out to ask the guy what his problem was, and he was in my face with his finger all over my dad's face. He got in his car and had threatened my dad to a fight and drove away.
When did you kick the car?
As he was driving away, Your Honor.
Now, my question to you, sir, what foot did you kick his car with?
My left foot.
And you injured your right foot.
I injured my right foot.
So you were standing on your fractured foot, is that right?
That is correct.
You put all your weight on your fractured foot in order to kick his car with the other foot.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You see? If you tell me the whole truth, he's too old for me to deal with. You see, he's already cooked. He's cooked. You're not. I believe that you broke your foot. I believe that you broke your foot when you kicked his car. That's what I believe. That doesn't excuse him from tearing out, which I believe he did. And I don't believe he tried to knock you over because that would be stupid. But he was mad and he had had it. And he has a temper, and that's what happens when you have a temper. And I believe that the bike went down. I don't believe that your foot was under his car. I believe that the bike went down, but not with you on it. Can I see a picture of the dent?
Yes. There's several pictures of the overall car. It's not a small dent.
Oh, this is not a small dent. This is enough of a dent to break your foot.
Yeah.
Christopher. So I'm disposing of your counterclaim very fast because I don't believe that your foot was broken in any other way but kicking his car. So your counterclaim is dismissed. Clear? Now, the only thing that I have to determine is whether or not you caused this damage to his car. No question you did. There's no question you did.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay, how old are you? 15?
15.
And you? 14? Let's talk about when you have a motorcycle or a moped or whatever else it is that goes fast.
Okay.
And let's talk about being responsible. You see that child over there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What do you think would happen if you hit that child while she was playing in the street when you were going up and down the street with your motorcycle?
I would feel terrible.
No, what do you think would happen to her?
She would get hurt extremely
Right.
bad.
Right. Now, how old do you have to be in order to get a driver's license in the state of California?
16, Your Honor.
So that neither you nor your brother can get a driver's license. Is that
That's
right?
correct.
There is a reason why the state imposes certain restrictions on people having the ability to have a machine that can cause serious injury. And that is because children at age 14 and 15 lack judgment. You put a 14-year-old on a machine that can go, how fast can your bike go?
Probably about 65 miles an hour.
65 miles an hour, and they got all this testosterone, and they got all this puberty stuff going on, and they got all this hormone stuff going on, and they have no other way to take it out, so they take it out on the road. Well, if you're going to entrust a machine that can go 65 miles an hour to your children, then you have to be prepared for the consequences. If you want to give them a machine that can go 65 miles an hour, then you put the machines in a truck and you take them to a deserted area where that is not residential, where they can drive and there aren't other children and there aren't other dogs and there aren't people and there aren't anybody else that they can frighten. And if you choose not to do that, then you are responsible. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Let me see the estimate to the damage to your car, please.
That is one of these right here.
You have a $500 deductible?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Consider yourself lucky. Really, consider yourself lucky. You broke your foot because you got mad. And you said to me you got angry because he was threatening my father. Right? Isn't that what you said?
Not only that, the fact that he had hit me with his car without even an attempt to try and ask me to stop, to do anything. He just figured he'd take it out with his car on me.
You think that he hit you with his car on purpose?
I believe he did.
That would be pretty stupid. That would be pretty stupid. You think that if you hit his daughter, that would have been an accident?
Yes, that would have been
An accident?
Yes.
Tragedy. Okay. Now, how fast were you going that day?
Probably about 30 miles an hour.
Was there any time during the day that you were going faster than 30 miles an hour?
Your Honor, I held
Answer
it
my
was
question.
not, Your Honor.
No, only 30 miles an hour.
Only 30
Well,
miles an
30
hour.
miles an hour is pretty fast. It's faster than you can go on a bicycle if you're that age. Your parents have to feel that you're responsible enough. If the state of California doesn't believe you're responsible enough to drive a vehicle that can go 65 miles an hour, I wouldn't give a bike like that to one of my kids who was 15. If you choose to do that, you pay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700 as requested. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Unfair, completely unfair.
I think Judge Judy saw straight through the truth.
I hope the next boy he runs over is as lucky as my son to be able to walk away.
There's no way that he got his foot broken and then kicked my car.
There's other kids in our neighborhood that ride their dirt bikes, and if he stopped my son like that, he's going to stop the next kid like that.
There are some other boys that ride the bikes, and they do it slow, reasonable, responsible speeds.
His wife works at the school district. She's been to both of my son's school, making harassing comments regarding my boys.
Their son has been threatening my son at school.
We were perfectly at speeds in order to correct ourselves.
I have little kids, and there had been too many times. It was late at night, it was 8 o'clock at night, and I'd had enough.
If his daughter would have ran in front, we could have stopped instantly.
This father, I can see where the kid gets his attitude from.
Well, hopefully they'll just leave my kids alone.
Parents need to be responsible for their kids' actions.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Corcoran versus Bilby, step forward, please.
19-year-old college student Jamie Corcoran is suing her ex-roommate, 19-year-old student Erin Bilby, for totaling her car. Erin says she was the designated driver because Jamie was drunk.
All right, Ms. Corcoran, this is not a very difficult case. You were at a party and got drunk. The defendant was with you. You go to school together?
We're sweet mates.
In school?
Yeah.
So the answer is you go to school together?
Yes.
And you gave her the keys to your car to drive home because you had had too much to drink.
Well, that was the arrangement.
Excuse me?
That was the arrangement, like prior.
You gave her the keys to your car because you were too drunk to drive.
Yes.
She drove home because she was not too drunk to drive.
Right.
Is that right?
That is right.
And you had an accident. And your car was severely damaged. And you want her to pay for the damage.
Yes.
And you don't think you have any responsibility.
No, I didn't say that.
Huh?
I was willing to split the damages with her because there was 3 of us in the car, and I thought all 3 of us equally were at fault. So I think I'm responsible partly, yes.
How much was the damage to the car?
The final estimate is $3,107.
What year car is this?
92 Saturn.
92 Saturn's 10 years old. How much is the car worth?
31 Blue Book. Like, it's totaled, so Blue Book value is 31.
So you can't drive the car.
No, it's totaled.
So what are you going to do with the money?
I have to buy a new car, or I can fix it and sell it.
You're not going to fix it and sell it. Because if I give you a little bit of money from her, where are you going to get the other money? To fix it and sell
I'm just going to have it totaled and put the rest of the money towards a new car. I don't have any money either. We're both college students, so we don't have very much money.
Right. And you know what that means? That means that you don't drive your car when you're drinking. Don't drive the car at all.
I was drinking before we left, and it was already said I wasn't driving. I wasn't planning on driving at all. And she knew that I was drinking before I left. She knew.
Ms. Cochran, let us say I give you $500. And I say to her, listen, you had the accident, you should share in the responsibility of fixing this car.
I bought a car. I took out a loan. I was taking taxis to and from work.
Just a second. Well, wait, what is it? Did you buy a car?
Yeah, I bought one. My mom co-signed a loan for me.
What kind of car did you buy?
A 96 Paseo.
Keep your voice up. You don't have to be embarrassed. Tell me how you had this accident, Miss Bealby.
When we were driving back from the party, I've never driven in this area before. It was my first time actually being in downtown Buffalo, which is where we go to school. I was on it was an overpass, and there was a concrete reinforcing wall, and it had been raining out.
What month?
It was September 16th, the night of the accident.
Go ahead.
It had been raining out, and I'm used to driving in New York where it's raining or it's snowing, and the tires slipped on me, and usually I can gain control very quickly after that happens. And I continued to hydroplane and lose control, and that's when I ran into the concrete reinforcing wall on this overpass.
You have any recollection of that at all?
Yeah, I know what happened.
So tell me what happened.
Just like she said, we were driving, and the turn's very sharp. I have pictures of it. Do you want to see it?
Could you speak slow? I can't understand you.
I'm sorry. The turn's very sharp, but there were signs. There were signs like 25 miles an hour, 90-degree turn ahead. Well, she was driving, and I was in the passenger seat, and my other roommate was in the back, and we're just driving, and she just went straight is what happened. She didn't even turn. I don't think she knew that the turn was coming up. We definitely weren't sliding. She definitely slammed on the brakes.
It's an accident. She doesn't have to pay for anything. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't drunk. She had an accident. That's what you have insurance for when you have an accident. If you hadn't been drinking, she wouldn't have been driving your car. I don't think she's responsible to pay for your new car at all. I think you got to pay for your new car. And next time, take the bus.
Okay.
Leave the driving to us if you're going to be drinking. Goodbye, Miss Cochran.
Parties are excused. You may step. This is case number 106 on the calendar in the matter of Ward versus Price. Ward. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated.
Mrs. Ward, the defendant is your son, and the co-defendant is his fiancée or girlfriend. Right. You have children together?
Yes, ma'am. Not together. I have a son and she has a daughter.
But they live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
I've read your complaint very carefully, Mrs. Ward. This is your husband?
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, you claim that your son assaulted you in his home, and that his fiancée was present, and while there's no claim that she assaulted you, she did nothing to prevent it.
Correct.
I don't know why you're standing up as a plaintiff, just to give moral support to your wife, sir?
Well, not only moral support, but I was there also because I wanted to stop the situation with my
You
boy.
were there on the evening of this alleged assault with your wife?
Yes, I was.
Why were you and your wife at your son's home?
Okay, my wife had called my son up. She wanted to talk to him. This is through a prior conversation. She'd been trying to deal with him for a while.
About what, Mrs. Ward?
Go ahead.
About the TV and the VCR.
Tell me about the TV and the VCR.
My son and his wife, Ben, were having problems. Sean had sold everything in his house. He didn't have a good job like he does now. I mean, he was doing piecework.
Just a second. I read your complaint very carefully. Let me see if I can make this, because this is just a background to the story.
Okay.
Your son came to live with you for a while.
Yes, ma'am.
He was supposed to pay you rent, $50 a week.
Right.
He didn't pay you the rent.
No, ma'am,
Exactly.
I did pay. Okay.
You claimed he didn't pay you the rent. And you said, when you move, you'll leave me the TV and the VCR for the rent. And then when he moved out, he took the TV and the VCR.
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason you and your husband went over there that night was to take back the TV and the VCR.
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me what happened when you got there.
They were eating dinner. So we went in the living room while they was eating and watched TV. The children were there too, eating. They got done, came in and gave us a hug, you know, and Michelle was getting them ready for bed. And so Sean says, well, you're here, what do you want to talk about? And I said, the TV and VCR. He said, I knew that's what it was going to be about. And he stood up. I said, he says, I do not owe you anything, Mom, nothing, and I want you out of the house. Well, I have a book right here where I kept notes, and his signature is on it. And I said, son, I have proof. I opened the book, and that's when he stood up and got very angry at me. And told me to, I don't know the words he said, to get out.
Get out of the house.
And actually, I didn't really believe him. I mean, he's my baby son, and I believe in his
Just a
word.
minute. So he told you to leave his house at least twice?
Yes, ma'am.
And then what happened?
And I said, you're kidding, Sean. He said, I'm not kidding, Baba. He said some other words. And I said, then I'll go up and get it myself. I know I can't. Look at me, how much I weigh. I know I couldn't get it myself.
Where was your husband during all this time?
Can I speak? I was in the living room.
So you were in the living room. So your
Yes.
wife was going to go upstairs and take the TV and the VCR. That's what she said she was going to do anyway.
That's correct.
So she started up the stairs, and what happened? Mrs. Ward.
Well, as she proceeded to start upstairs, first of all, I was shocked on the whole situation, the anger he threw at his mother. As I seen this anger, I just kind of looked at him and said, you know, you shouldn't talk to your mother that way, because she is your mother, irregardless, you know, what she says or does. She proceeded to go upstairs. I went with her upstairs to slow her down and said, honey, I think we might as well go ahead and leave. And she says, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here till he either gives me the VCR and the TV. And at that point, he says, well, I'm going to call the sheriff. She said, well, go ahead and call the sheriff. And he just got angry at that point. He says, well, the heck with it. As I was proceeding to hold her back a little bit from proceeding upstairs, then he turned around and got angry and turned around and says, well, by God, I'll get her out. Then he jerked her off the step, holding onto the steps, threw her on his back. I told him, do not hurt your mother. He says, oh, I'm going to put her out if that's the only way I can get her out. Then I heard a big old thud in the living room, and I come running in there. She had hit the floor. I don't know if he dropped her or what happened. She was really hurt, and at that time she was speechless. She was shocked, and she says, I am going on my own. You don't need to manhandle me anymore.
Incorrect.
So he proceeded to pick her up by the arm, straight up, head on out the door, all the way to the car, slammed her into the car. She hit her head on the door as she went in. And at that time, he just said, this is where you're going to stay, get out of here. So that's as far as it went. Why I didn't do anything. People says, well, why didn't you get a pipe and hit him over the head? First of all, he's my son, and I do love him. I love my wife both. They're trying to make a choice so quickly, and I'm not really much of a match to go jumping ahead and start doing something to my son again to his house. So there's a lot of thoughts had to go through my head. And
Was your wife drinking that day?
No, she was not.
She had anything to drink of an alcoholic nature. Just
No,
make sure.
She doesn't.
She don't drink. She might drink a little something that wasn't alcohol.
Okay, so this was not alcohol related. She was in total control of her senses
It was drug
when she
induced.
came to your house. Is that right?
Drug induced, not alcohol.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That was part of the deal.
Deal, Schmiel, listen to me.
I gave him a place to live, Your Honor.
Big deal. It's your child.
And later today,
The relationship was quite expensive.
He gave me a promise ring.
She was constantly asking for money.
He promised to marry me.
I felt that I was being taken advantage of, literally.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donna Ward says her son, Sean Ward, assaulted her while she was visiting his home. Sean says his mother was belligerent and refused to leave.
You take prescription medication?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Now, you have photographs of your injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them. The marks that I see on your arms are consistent with being picked up by your arms.
Yes, ma'am.
That was your injury.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I'm going to let you tell me your side of the story, Mr. Ward.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, the case is dismissed for all purposes against Miss Price because she did not participate in this,
Correct.
other than to stand by and do nothing, which is the same thing you did, Mr. Ward. She's not even married to him. You're married to her. Why would you sue Miss Price?
Because I felt like, just like he did, tried to get Sean to calm down, I was hoping that maybe she...
Your husband didn't come to your defense. Why would a stranger?
Not for me, for her husband. I thought maybe she would ask Sean to stop. I mean... That's all.
She's not a party to this case.
Okay.
So, tell me your version of the events. Your mother came to get...
Yes,
your mother
ma'am.
came?
My mother came to the house. I had paid them $100 a week instead of the $50 that she was agreed on to pay. So therefore, she knew the TV was paid for. She let me take it on wheel out the house. The only reason that I had any confrontation with her at all, because both my 5- and 6-year-old kids were standing in the living room, that she had asked for them to be present. I thought maybe she had a health problem that she was getting ready to tell us about. And when she did come up with that situation, I did get angry, but I did stand up and ask them both to leave. I opened both the doors, and I said, well, y'all need to leave. And I might have said it a little meaner, to get out of my house.
Right.
They would not leave.
Ultimately, you picked her up and put her out of the house.
Yes, ma'am, I picked her up off the steps.
And that's what the marks are on her arm.
That possibly could be.
All right. This part of the case is pretty easy. Mr. and Mrs. Ward, you are not entitled to any damages. You entered his home with his permission.
Exactly.
Then he asked you to leave. You refused to leave. At that point, you are trespassing on his property. He asked you to leave again. You still would not leave. The law permits him, as I'm sure the judge told you in court when you were there on the criminal case, that he has the right to use reasonable force. Can't shoot you. He can't stab you, but he can physically take you and move you out of his property, which is exactly what he did. Now, the fact that I don't understand why you're there trying, if your son is finally back on his feet, and he's now got a good job, and he's got a home, and he's got 2 kids that he's taking care of, why in the world you would make a big deal out of a television set and an old VCR, I haven't a clue. But I'm not going into that.
Okay.
Because there's no logical reason why you would go to his house and create a scene with 2 children there to get back a TV and a VCR that you think was owed to you for rent.
I did not. I let the children go upstairs. I've asked him without the children being around.
I don't know why you would ask for it at all.
Because, ma'am, that was part of the deal.
Deal, schmeal, listen to me.
I gave him a place to live, Your Honor.
Big deal. He's your child.
I know, and I'm his mom. I did not want to do this.
Well, you shouldn't have done it.
Sean knows in his heart that he said, I believed in his word. And
Mrs. Ward.
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
I have 7.
If your child has not been doing well for a while, as you said, he'd been in and out of your house, and he was finally, according to you, finally got a good job and back on his feet, what mother in her right mind would say, now I'm going to take the television set that you watch and the VCR that you watch, or that the children watch in their room? There's no excuse. You could talk from today till tomorrow. I have children.
I know.
And for $250, you went to the house to make a scene?
No, ma'am, I did not intend to make any kind of
Of course
scene.
you did. Because
No,
once he
ma'am.
said to you, I'm here for the TV and the VCR, and he said, I don't want to talk about
I
that,
only
please
started
leave, then you decided to go upstairs and you said, I'm going to take it myself. That's creating a scene.
I didn't think that I was very smart, Your Honor.
Fine.
But he had
Good.
gotten a big, huge television. And I figured that he knew we were down. That TV would have helped us. We were down and there was nobody helping us.
Stop it. Your children aren't supposed to help you. You're supposed to help them.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donna Ward says her son, Sean Ward, assaulted her while she was visiting his home. Sean says his mother was belligerent and refused to leave.
You were arrested for assault,
Yes, ma'am.
and those charges were dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume that they were dismissed, Mr. Ward, because they ultimately determined that you had the legal right to put your mother off the property.
Correct on
Is
her
that
own
right?
testimony. I didn't even have to testify.
Right. You can't sue her.
Right.
Here, you can't sue her.
Correct.
The district attorney determined that there was sufficient evidence to go to trial with because your mother had your fingerprint marks on her arms.
Correct.
Why she proceeded that far, I don't know, but she did. So you have no right to sue her for false arrest because you did, in fact, put your hands on her. You weren't in fear of your life from your mother. You weren't in fear of life, and certainly not from
No,
your
ma'am.
father because he didn't do anything.
No, ma'am. I intended no harm, and due respect to you and her, I do love my mother. Only thing I have here is the bills that I had to pay, my lawyer bills,
You
and
shouldn't have put your hands on your mother.
and then been out.
You shouldn't have put
You're
your,
absolutely correct,
You shouldn't
ma'am.
have put
But
your hands
I
on
was
your mother.
looking
Pay your
forward-
own bills.
I was looking forward
Case
to
is
my
dismissed.
kids.
That's all.
All these are excused. You may step out.
I have always believed in his word, and if you can't stand by your word, what else do you have?
He's upset with the fact that he's siding with his mother, I mean, which no person wants to be, and I just wish it would all be over with.
I would like us to be a family. I don't know if that's possible.
What I wanted.
Legal Secretary Deborah D'Amico is suing her ex-husband, disabilities advocate Darren Aquino, for the return of their son's belongings and for money owed. Darren is countersuing for legal fees.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 357 on the calendar in the matter of D'Amico versus Aquino. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mrs. D'Amico, the defendant is your former husband, and this must be one of your children.
This is my son, Brandon.
According to your complaint, your son Brandon was living with his father for a period of time, then came back to live with you.
Exactly.
It is your claim, one, that his father refuses to return some of his personal property, and two, that Brandon received some sort of a Social Security check, and that his father kept some of that money after he had returned to your home. Is that right?
That's true, Your Honor.
Mr. Aquino says that the things that were purchased for his son are in his home. He can come and use them whenever he wants to use them, and that he had some sort of an arrangement with his son to pay for some of that stuff, and he didn't pay for them, so Mr. Aquino kept some of his money.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. When were you divorced?
In 92, August.
How many children do you have?
3 children.
Give me their names and ages, please.
I have Nicolina, who's going to be 20, Eric, who's going to be 19 in December, and Brendan, who's 16.
Okay. When you were divorced in 1992, the children were living with whom?
With me.
For how long?
Since that time, Your Honor, I had physical custody of the children.
At this time, am I correct, according to you, that 2 of the children are living with you?
Yes, Your Honor. And the date of divorce was 93 of July. The date was incorrect. that she
Okay, well, I
stated.
have the papers here, and it's part of the file. Regardless.
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Are 2 of the children currently living with you?
Eric and Brendan. Brendan left the home.
No, listen to me.
Yes.
You're not following my question. You're not receiving, you're thinking about an answer. Are 2 of the children currently living in your home?
One of the children are currently living in the home.
Who?
Eric.
Where's your daughter?
Nicolina had left, and I don't know where she went.
Your Honor.
Is Nicolina living with you?
Well, on and off, Your Honor. She's 20 years old. She's liberated. She goes back and forth.
But she was for a period of time living with her father?
Yes, until he threw her out.
Okay. Stop playing with your papers.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Just a second. I ask questions,
sorry.
you answer them, then I make a decision. That's the way we go here. It's comfortable for me. I'm
Okay.
used to routine. All right. Now, when did Brendan go and live with his father?
The end of June 2001.
And when did he return to your house?
June 2002.
Why did he leave your house?
He had an argument with me. At the time, I was imposing a curfew.
He had an argument with you.
Right.
Went to his father. What kind of Social Security check does Brendan get?
Well, the father receives Social Security disability, and Brendan gets a stipend from the government based on Darren's record.
What's the nature of your disability? Is it a physiological disability
it's
or
physical.
a psych?
Yeah, it's a multiple physical, Your Honor.
Multiple physical.
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been on disability?
Since 1987.
Okay. What things do you claim that are in your former husband's house that belongs to your son?
Main items were TV, VCR,
Just a minute.
PlayStation,
TV, VCR, what else?
several electronic games, all his clothing, all his shoes, which I have a list of, Your Honor, right here.
But there was a TV, was a VCR, and was a PlayStation that you took to your father's house?
Yes.
And are they still at your father's house?
Correct.
Why?
Why? Well, Your Honor, he left that house in a very bad way. He was thrown out at 4:30 in the morning by her. We had to go pick him up. He didn't speak with her for 6 months.
Mr. Aquino, listen to me carefully, sir. Are there any items that you have in your home that you personally purchased for your son after June of 2001 when he was living with you?
Oh, sure.
What?
I have PlayStation 2, is it?
Just a second. PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
What else?
Xbox.
Xbox. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Clothes from Old Navy.
Okay.
That are still brand new in the packages.
Exactly.
Listen to me.
Yes.
5 days from today's date, all of his property, so far with the extension of PlayStation 2 and Xbox, are to be quiet, are to be packed in a box. That all, quiet, that all goes back to your son. Now, I will give you 30 seconds to convince me that that is not going to happen.
Okay, Your Honor, there is lots of complications at that household. Many of the children have had abusive treatment by the mother.
I don't care. Mr. Aquino,
Your Honor.
pay careful attention, sir. Your son is 16 years old.
That is correct.
Which means he is still a minor.
That is correct.
Should you wish to contest custody
I am
of your
doing so.
child, you're not receiving, you're speaking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Should you wish to contest custody of your child, you go to the appropriate family court. They will conduct a hearing with regard to whether or not he gets to stay where he wants to stay at age 16, whether it's not in his best interest to be with his mother. In the meantime, all of his property that he came to you with goes back to him. Keep going. I don't want to hear about abuse. I don't want to hear about
Thank you,
neglect.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, right now as we speak, an attorney is filing a document in Nassau County Family Court to restore him back to a stable lifestyle, which I set up for him. He did not go back to her in June. He went in August to visit. She's misinforming you. She's also filed other documents that are falsified, which I would like this court to consider that she made fraudulent statements to the Family Court of Queens.
Mr. Aquino, I want you to pay attention to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
I sat in the family court, the state of New York, the city of New York for many, many years, Mr.
I know.
Aquino.
That's why I was confident
So
here
I'm
today.
telling you, and I'm going to tell it to you, for the moment at least, without your son here. Wait outside. Wait outside. Fast, fast. I have things to do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, he lived with me.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in September.
But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
Doubt it.
I doubt it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Deborah D'Amico says ex-husband Darren Aquino won't return their son's belongings. Deborah also claims Darren has been withholding money from their son.
Now, one of the problems when you deal with 16-year-olds is they're very mobile. They get to go where they want to go.
Yes.
Usually when a child is over the age of 12, a family court judge in hearing a petition for custody is going to make a determination that, yes, it may be true that you present the more stable home for this child. However, if he says to the judge, there's no way that I want to go and stay with my father. I want to stay with my mother for whatever reason. And the judge is going to say, listen, what am I going to do? He's 16 years old. He can get on a bus. He can get on a train. He can take off. Where am I going to put him? So before you spend a whole bunch of money, you might be as well served if you got into some family counseling with him to try to resolve some of whatever problems exist, because sometimes it's an exercise in futility to try to tell a 16-year-old where to live.
I understand
Not going to
that,
happen.
Your Honor.
In the meantime, it doesn't serve you well to keep this stuff as sort of ransom because it makes your son angry with you.
Yes,
Which is
Your Honor.
not a good idea. Forget about his mother. I don't know if she's good or bad, or a good mother or a bad mother, a psycho or not. I don't know. All I'm telling you is you have a child
Absolutely.
who right now is mad at you because you have his TV. You have his Nintendo. You have his PlayStation. All stupid things. Stupid things. But he's angry with you for that. And if you want to open a dialogue, you're smarter not to be stubborn and say, here, you want it? These are just things. All right, now I'm going to let you speak.
Your Honor, the reason I kept those things is because it was not settled that he's there. In my fight to get him back, because of the complications with the new fella in her life, now her husband, Brendan showed to myself and to my future wife these dissatisfactions and expressed to her more than me, because he bonded with her as a second mother figure, which is good. It's good, okay? My concern is that these things that she shows him with the counseling, Your Honor, I've suggested that. She would interfere.
Your Honor.
She told Judge of the family court, who you probably know. He got up. I've never seen a judge get up in rage with veins popping, yelling at her to shut up, that he makes the rules.
That is not
She
true.
interferes.
This man has taken me to court in 20 years.
Your Honor,
I must say this because I've been carrying it for 20 years. This man has made false allegations, has used the judicial system to work for his benefit. He makes people lie for him. I am an upright citizen, a good mother. I've been taking care of my children since I'm divorced.
Forgery.
And I have been supporting them since. The man doesn't even pay child support.
Not supposed
he is a
to. We have an
loser,
obligation
Your Honor.
not to do that.
And the man is making up lies here, and he's telling you this like it's so, and it's not true.
Mr. Miko, what I'm telling you is, if you listen, I said, I don't care any of the stuff he's giving me. I'm telling him he's got to return the stuff.
I am so glad you did that.
Period.
I am so
End of discussion.
honored.
Because, Mr. Aquino, it's not the right thing to do
Yes, Your Honor.
to further alienate your 16-year-old by keeping property that he deems his. Now, let's move on. That's finished. Let's move on to the second part of it, which is $391 a month. I am assuming, because I'm not going into this, that
was a recent increase, Your Honor.
Whatever it is. You acknowledge that you kept some of his money because you say the last insurance benefit I received, it's not insurance,
No.
Mr. Aquino. It's my money. It's Bird's money that we pay to support you because you're disabled.
Exactly.
No, it's my money that I paid into the fund.
How old were you in 1987?
28, I think.
28? And you've been collecting now for 15 years. So you've been collecting more than you worked, and you're going to collect for another 20 or 30 years. Believe me, it's not your money you put into the fund, it's Bird's money.
Thank you.
You say thank you.
So
You misused their money.
Mr. Aquino,
Yes,
pay
Your
attention
Honor.
to me. Believe me, I've been around the block longer than you have, Mr. Aquino.
Yes, Your Honor.
Trust me. So it's not insurance money.
No, ma'am.
It's
not.
Bird's money that went to your son that you kept, and you kept at a time when he wasn't living with you because you
Not
acknowledge
so.
that.
Not so, Your Honor.
No, that's what you said.
No. He
what you
took
said.
it in advance, Your Honor, to buy those sets. He says, Dad, can I have this money to buy the box? And
Just a
August
sec. Shh. I want you to be quiet. I got you now. Let me say. So what you're saying is he took... Quiet, Mr. Aquino.
I can't tell you if I'm quiet.
Mr. Aquino, what you're saying to me, sir, is that your son took an advance on his Social Security disability payment.
My Social Security disability
His.
payment. His beneficiary payment.
Bird's money. So that he could buy a PlayStation 2 and other electronic games.
And the cassette.
Wrong. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Listen to me, sir. If you, as his parent, choose to purchase electronic games for him, you don't make the choice unless it's out of your money. Now, if he's living with you, and because you say, well, you're going to get a check next... Mr. Aquino, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, sir. Because there may be something physiologically wrong with you, but there's nothing psychologically wrong with you,
That is
except you're a little
correct.
bit of a hustler. And when you say to me, quiet, and when you say to me he took an advance so that after he moved out I kept that money, I'm telling you that that's a hustle. Now, he moved out according to you in August.
That's
According
correct.
to his mother in June, according to you in August. Did you keep August's benefit?
August benefit went to her.
Your Honor, I got copies of the two checks
Can I
that
see
I
it,
got.
please?
I got statements to Social Security, too, of the misuse
These
of
are
the funds
the
that
two checks
she's had.
that I did receive since Brendan has been back with me.
Brendan has never received any use of his money while in Deborah's care.
Just a second. He's not supposed to get the money, Mr.
It's for the
Aquino.
parent to use.
It's not for the parent to
his
use.
Quiet.
support.
Quiet. He is not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino.
At an age.
He's not supposed to get the...
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
He's not supposed to get the money, Mr. Aquino, until he reaches his majority. At 16, he is still a minor, which is why you can go to the family court to try to get custody of him, because he's still a minor. He doesn't control the money. It goes to the person who is providing him with
Which
food.
was me.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes. He lived with me. What do you mean? He lived with us.
Mr. Aquino, he didn't live with you in September. He didn't live with you in August.
Of what year?
2002.
No, he did not. But he'll return very soon.
I doubt it.
I don't.
doubt it.
I doubt
don't.
it.
I doubt it.
When they see the fraud that she committed in the courts,
I know
I doubt it.
I don't doubt it. You filed
I'm
a false
talking.
document in Supreme Court.
You received August's check for 2002?
It
That's what
indicates
said.
on the check I received
August 2000
August.
to me. You have August and you have October. And you had better find out from them what happened for September, because they skipped
They're
September.
a month behind. You get the previous month when
I
they
don't
send
want
it
you to
to
interrupt me again. You may interrupt her.
Your
You don't
Honor.
interrupt me.
You're wrong.
Trying to explain
No,
the checks and
don't
how they come.
explain anything. Don't
I'll
explain
tell you
anything.
what
They're my
happened.
benefit.
I'm not
I'll explain how they
interested.
come.
Pay attention.
Let me make that
You have
clear.
August, and according to you have October. You go to them and find out where September
They
is.
told me they reissued it back to Darren because
Wasn't
he went to
reissued.
the Jericho.
Show me proof. Show me proof.
Well,
that
I
they
don't have
reissued it
proof.
to
I
him.
only have proof that I applied 2 times to be payee within the course of the past several
Fine.
months. I can show you that, Your Honor.
Just a second. Mr. Aquino, you've been sworn today. Are you testifying, sir, under oath, that you did not receive September's check for your son?
September's check. I didn't receive September's check. Did it come into the... She does it goes into a direct deposit.
Just a second. Did you receive September's check?
No, Your Honor.
Did you receive a check in October?
No, Your Honor.
You have not received a check since August.
Correct.
That
I have
check-
maybe a
Shh,
possibility why that is, Judge.
I don't care why it is. You said that you did not receive it.
That is correct.
Your fiancé said it did not come in. That's under oath. Very easy
Your
to get
Honor,
a tape.
I have letters here indicating that he was changed, the payee was changed to
Listen
his
to me
name again.
very-
So he would have had to have gotten the check somehow, either by direct deposit
Your
or
Honor,
the mail, Your Honor. I have
They're
2 notices
suspending
here
the
from
check
Social Security.
because of the problems
No,
with
they're not.
Debbie.
No,
And
Listen
my
to me, Mr.
contact with the
Aquino.
office. Yes.
All I'm saying to you is, and I want you to be quiet and stop moving from side to side, sir.
I have a limp, so I
No,
can't
You're
stick.
nervous because you're hustling me a little
No,
bit.
I'm not hustling
Okay?
you, Your
You're
Honor.
nervous because you're
I
hustling
wouldn't
me a
hustle
little
you.
bit.
You're too sharp.
Your Honor,
Yo,
I
yo,
wish
yo,
you
yo,
would
you're
please
too
look
sharp
at
for me.
these.
Right.
Your Honor.
Miss,
These
I'm
two
gonna,
are-
I'm going to throw you both out.
I'm sorry, Your
I'm
Honor.
throwing you both
Throw her
out.
out.
Now, 5 days from today, you are to get all of the property packed up. You make arrangements to have it picked up by a third party, a mover or whatever. With regard to the money, take it up with Social Security. Now, let's get to your counterclaim, which is nonsense. Mr.
Nonsense?
Aquino, it is
Why you
your
say it's
claim. It is
nonsense,
your
Judge?
claim. Shh, quiet. You say that you paid legal
Not
fees
true.
for your son Eric when he was in trouble last year. Is
No.
that right?
Eric was 18. It's for a charge when he was 16.
Yeah.
While he was living in her care.
Yeah.
That these things were concealed from me, and then at the end, she dumps them on my lap and says, now you take care of it. Take care of what? I said.
Okay.
I supported him. We have an obligation under the court, Your Honor.
What is it that you paid for him?
$3,000. We assigned it over to Anthony, you probably know the name, as Eric's counsel.
Who hired the lawyer?
She asked me to go and call my friend Anthony.
No, just a second. She asked you to go and call your friend,
Right.
who is a lawyer.
We were going to have legal
Shh,
aid for him. Yes,
And you did that.
yes. And she also
Shut
met
up.
me at the court.
Shh. Don't volunteer. Just answer my questions. Where did you get $3,000 from?
I'll let Stephanie answer that.
No,
Stephanie
I don't
took it
want
from her
Stephanie to answer it. I want you to answer it.
phone. Okay. Stephanie took it out of her IRA.
Should have let legal aid represent sir.
That's what I said.
That ain't what she said.
That's what I
Absolutely.
She pleaded with
Okay.
me and cried.
This case is resolved as follows. 5 days from today's date, all the property is to be returned to your son. It's very unfortunate that you can't put a period to the end of all of this heartache and
I'd
say,
like to.
shh, and say, for the sake of all the children and maybe grandchildren to come, we're going to get along here. Maybe we should all get together and try to be cooperative and try to work together as a family. That's not going to happen.
That would be wonderful. but
Good.
that's
Give
a
him back his
fantasy with
stuff,
her.
and that's it. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is case number 315 on the calendar in the matter of Haig versus Webster. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Haig, this gentleman used to be your son-in-law. He's married to your daughter, and they have 2 children. Is that right?
Yes.
You are suing him for the balance owed on a washer and dryer that was purchased on your credit in 1994 when the defendant and your daughter were married. You bought it for about $1,000 from Sears. Is that right?
Yes.
And they were to pay off so much per month for the remainder of their natural lives. Well, then there came a time later on that you and your husband decided to buy a 2-family house with your daughter and her husband. And you did. In what year did you buy this 2-family house?
1995.
And in that 2-family house, 4 of you and the 2 grandchildren, also came the washer and dryer, which I assumed you all used. Is that right?
Yes.
And then there came some marital difficulty. And in the year, according to what I've read here, 2000, your daughter left.
Yes.
And Mr. and Mrs. Haig, you stayed in the house for a while. Is that right?
Yes.
Then you decided to buy them out of the house.
Yes.
Now, so from 1995 until 2002, this house was owned jointly, and everybody used the washer and dryer. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Webster, when your former wife left you, what happened to the children?
They stayed with me and I take care of them.
And they're 2 boys?
Yes.
And how old were the children at the time?
3 and 5.
Was there a custody trial with regard to the children?
Yes. I mean, in the divorce. Yes, in the divorce.
So your former wife did at some point request custody of the children?
No. No,
She didn't. She did not?
No. She got remarried and went on her own life.
Okay. So there was never a dispute as to who would have custody of the children? Did there ever come a time when you had problems with your in-laws?
No, not until I couldn't take it no more at the house with them at the house and everything. So.
What do you mean you couldn't take it anymore?
It was just him not working, me paying more money than I had to, me just paying more and more and more money. Something had to be done, and that's why I bought them out. And I thought that was going to be it.
How much money did they get when you bought them?
Exactly $23,900.
How much money did you put in, sir, as a down payment on the house?
$6,500.
And you walked away with $24,000, is that right?
That's right.
It was a good investment.
Yes, it was a very good investment.
Very good. So, now let me ask you this question. What in the world are you doing here? You have 2 grandchildren that he's taking care of. That washer and dryer was paid over the last 8 years. There's no question about that. $25 here, $50 there. Everybody used the washer and dryer. The whole washer and dryer cost $1,000 8 years ago. You just closed a property where he's living with your grandchildren, and you made a handsome profit. You explain to me why, under those circumstances, you people would be foolhardy enough to come to court and sue him.
Okay, number 1, the bill wasn't paid.
Why didn't you pay it? You lived there, you used the washer and dryer. Why didn't you pay it?
Because I got sick.
Well, that's not his fault. He's got
no,
2 children to take care of. You're not his child. You got sick, you got sick.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with me? Or him? Or your 2 grandchildren if you got sick?
Well, I got sick, and when I got sick, I told him that I wanted to sell the house before we got into this financial problem. He did not want to sell the house.
Just a second. You wanted to sell the house after your daughter left?
Yes, right after, actually before my daughter left, I wanted to sell the house.
He lives there with your grandchildren.
I wanted to have him buy me out or sell the house so that I didn't have any obligations in the house, because I went 3 years without getting any money.
So?
And I told him I couldn't afford to pay all the payments.
So he paid? Just a minute. So he paid? What you couldn't pay, he paid. Is that what you're telling me?
Not all of it.
I don't care all of it. I don't care of a piece of it. He's taking care of your 2 grandchildren. You're not related to him by blood. Your daughter goes and takes off with somebody else, remarries, has a happy life. He's staying there. He's watching your 2 grandchildren. He's got to take care of you. He's got to take care of your wife. And now you have the audacity to come to court and want a washer and dryer that you bought in 1994 that the whole family used? I don't understand you, Mr. Haig. Is there something wrong with you?
No, there isn't.
There's a lot wrong with you.
No, there isn't.
Oh, yeah, there is. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds to convince me, sir.
Okay, when we first bought it, they took and they paid all the bills. Chris and Deborah paid the bills.
Just a minute. Chris and Deborah, where was Deborah working?
At Safeway.
She was working after the 2 children were born?
Yes.
Yes. Full-time?
Part-time.
What was he doing?
He was working full-time as a carpenter.
So he's working full-time, she's working part-time at Safeway, and you're not
That's
working at all.
And I was working part-time myself, and it's
So the only one working full-time is him?
That's right.
All right.
Now, I told him that I was getting worse than what because of my condition. I told him that I wanted to liquidate my part of the house so that he wasn't responsible for me. And he did not want to sell the house. He did not want to buy the house. He said he would make up the difference in the bills. I sat down and I explained to him that when we sold the house, or when I got my SSDI, that I would pay him back.
So how much did you pay him back?
I paid him
$600.
I paid him back all the money that we owed.
Oh, did he pay you back?
No.
How much did he give you?
Okay, it came down to where I offered him $20,000 for a buyout. He wanted $25,000, and it got knocked down. I paid for the $2,500 when we all bought the house together. He got that out of me. Everything that they ever put anything in downstairs, money-wise, I gave him $1,500 because they spent $3,000. I gave him $1,500, and then he told me that he wanted me to sign and pay for this washer and dryer. At the time, I was just giving him so much money and just wanted him out of my life so that I can start over and just be alone with my boys. And I just said, okay, and then I never signed nothing. I just said
I don't
no.
know whether you signed anything or not. You paid him back. You
I paid
say
him a
what
lot
you
more.
owed him by decreasing the amount that you should have gotten when you sold the house?
Yes.
Okay, you still made a handsome profit when you sold the house. So instead of making $24,000, maybe you should have made $30,000, right? Fine.
Yep.
You still made a handsome profit.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have the opportunity to be there and participate in the rearing of your grandchildren. What a gift that could be if you were nice people.
And later today,
When the landlord showed up the 20th to get rent, he saw holes in the walls that they left in their room and in the door.
Did you make any holes in the walls?
No, ma'am, I did not. Her and her boyfriend be fighting all the time. That's where the holes came from.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Donald and Donna Haig claim ex-son-in-law Chris Webster owes for the cost of a washer and dryer. Chris says the Haigs have been ignoring their grandchildren.
Listen, Mr. and Mrs. Haig, do you see your grandchildren?
Right now, no.
Why is that?
Because we don't see him.
I'm asking you why.
Because the feelings between him and I,
What kind of feelings?
it's bad.
Why?
I don't
Over what?
understand.
Over what?
Over the payment, because
Over the
he-
washer dryer?
Over the washer and dryer. And also, when I went to talk to him about it, he called the cops up, and the cops told me not to come back to the house. Because if I came back to the house, I would be arrested.
Okay. Now, why don't they see their grandsons?
I have no idea. His birthday, my 8-year-old son, Brandon, his birthday was this past Monday. Not one card, not one phone call, not nothing.
Did you send your grandson a birthday present?
Yes, I did.
You sent him a
Where was
birthday
Yes,
present?
I sent him a card. Yes, I did.
Card. Children like cards. They like presents. Why didn't you send him a birthday present?
Because I had put money in the card for his birthday present.
I don't believe that at all. Listen, if I construe this as a debt, I construe it as a joint debt. As far as I'm concerned, that debt should have been over. Certainly, 8 years later, the statute of limitations has run on that debt in any jurisdiction. And in this court, we use the doctrine of latches, which means if you sit on your laurels and you don't collect the debt, then it's forgiven. More importantly, I don't understand why grandparents, when they have a daughter who takes off, starting a new life, mothers usually don't do that, that are wrapped too tight. Got 2 little boys that she leaves with the father. You're living with the father, so you have the opportunity to be there and participate in the rearing of your grandchildren. What a gift that could be if you were nice people. What a wonderful opportunity that would be for you, madam, to say, look, my daughter's not here full-time. I got the 2 little boys. He's a carpenter. He works full-time. You know, I can be here. I can help shop and cook and take care of the boys if I want to. You're worried about a washer and dryer purchased in 1994. Your priorities are all screwed up, and I have no time for you. Your case is dismissed, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step back.
I'm just glad it's over.
I don't think it was fair.
I don't know how much more money I have to pay.
I'm very upset about it.
Anytime they ever want to do anything with the grandkids,
Oh, I'd like to be part of their lives.
all they have to do is just call.
I want to see everybody together, except I don't want nothing to do with Chris.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McKay Schuler versus Anglin. Step forward, please.
19-year-old waitress Ashley McKay and her boyfriend, 23-year-old dishwasher Craig Schuler, are suing their ex-roommate, customer service rep Brandy Anglin, for the return of personal property. Brandy is countersuing for rent, a security deposit, and the cost of living expenses.
Miss McKay, were you a friend of the defendant's?
No, we were a friend of her boyfriend.
Okay. According to your complaint, you and your boyfriend moved in with the defendant because you were having some financial difficulties and I gather got evicted from where you were living. You say that she agreed to let you stay there until you got back on your feet. Then something happened, she threw you out. It's your claim that she kept some of your property. You want her to pay for the property she kept. The defendant says that she did in fact keep some of your property because you owed her so much money that you were there for 3 months, and in the 3 months that you were there gave her a total of $40. You didn't pay rent, you ate all of her food, you had a lot of other bills that you had while you were there, and she's counterclaiming. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move into her house?
August 19th.
And when did she put you out?
It was September 18th.
So you were there 1 month?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No.
When did she move in?
July
July what?
29th.
And when did she move out?
September 18th.
So she was there 6 weeks. Okay. What stuff do you claim she kept?
We have a whole list right here. We have a 27-inch TV, a DVD player, a stereo, PlayStation 2, a fridge. We had Oriental rugs that were taken, my cell phone, DVDs, PlayStation games, VCR tapes, CDs, the book that had our CDs in it, our CD holder.
Where's all that stuff?
I don't know. I'm missing stuff also. And I take it that they didn't receive it either. But I do have
I don't understand what
a few
you're talking
things.
about. When you moved out, all this stuff was in the house, and I gather you told them to leave.
I told them to leave that night.
That night, and they left.
Yep.
And at the time they left, all that stuff was in the house.
Yes.
So where is it now?
My stuff's missing too also.
No.
Okay, where
The day they left, because you told them to leave, you were angry about something. I don't care what you were angry about. They left, and they didn't have opportunity to take all this stuff when you told them to leave that night. The next day, where was their stuff?
Still in the house.
When did you realize it was no longer there?
When the landlord showed up the 20th to get rent, and when I paid him the rent, he comes in the house like he usually does, and his translators come in, and he saw holes in the walls that they left in their room and in the door, and he told me to get out. So in the process of moving my stuff, some of my stuff came up missing.
I don't believe a word she says. When did you go back to get your property?
The 19th. So it was the very next day that we went back.
All right, you're suing for $3,000. The stuff that you have on this list is substantially more than that, but I gather that your limit is $3,000 in small claims court. Is that right? Okay. I don't believe this much of what you just told me about. I have no idea where their 27-inch TV is, where their DVD player is, where their VCR is, their PlayStation, where their small refrigerator is. I don't believe that you don't know where that stuff is.
I do know where that is.
Where is
I
it?
do. I've got that in storage at the place that I'm staying at. I do.
Oh, there
the TV,
you go.
There
you
DVD,
go.
But a VCR and a cell phone, which actually we have the same cell phone, but mine's a prepaid and hers a CenturyTel, and I have tried to return that to her because I don't want obligations to where accidents, somebody getting a hold of her phone.
What about a
and make cell
television, her
phone.
DVD player, a stereo, PlayStation, refrigerator?
No, PlayStation I do not have. I do not. I will account for what I do have. I have 5 items of theirs.
Well, then let's hear what 5 items you have.
I have the 27-inch TV.
Okay.
I have a VCR. I have the mini refrigerator.
Okay.
I have the cell phone and a microwave.
Now, I'm going to go over this very carefully with you, because if I find anything on here that I don't believe that you actually left when you left, that's not a good idea for you. You've got $400 worth of jewelry. You want to tell me about that?
Most of it was rings that my mom gave to me when she was about 16. She gave them to me. That's when she had them. I had a silver necklace for my grandma. I had 2 of those.
Why didn't you take that with you when you left?
When we were kicked out, it was about 12:30 at night, and she said,
Out of my house, I have 2 gentlemen downstairs that will escort you out if you don't leave.
What items did you take when you left?
We got dressed, put our coats on, I grabbed my purse, money, car keys, that was it, and we took out.
Where's her jewelry?
I don't know where the jewelry is. I do not. I've never seen her wear a bit of jewelry. I don't know.
Do you have any of her CDs?
No, I do not.
You know where they are?
No, I do not.
Okay. Within 5 days, the TV, VCR, refrigerator, cell phone, and the microwave are to be turned back to the plaintiffs. They're in storage?
Yes, they are.
What's the name of the storage?
It's actually at the place where I'm living, in the basement. That's the storage. My stuff is in storage also down there. I'm using my ex-mother-in-law's house as that, because I have a lot of my stuff down there also.
What's your counterclaim?
Okay, they lived with us rent-free. Okay.
6 weeks, right.
Yeah. They made me lose my deposit on the house because they're little bickering, arguing, fussing, fighting all the time. And I lost my deposit because they got too upset at each other and him throwing stuff or punching the walls or whatever it is. I lost my deposit on my house.
You mean your security deposit?
Yes, I do.
Did you make any holes in the walls?
No, ma'am, I did not. Her and her boyfriend be fighting all the time. That's where the holes came from.
Go ahead.
They'd sleep all day. I even got her job at where I was working.
Would you tell me what they owe you money for, please?
What they owe me money for? They lived there rent-free. They ate all the groceries. The only groceries they brought in, I guess, was at like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd bring them in snacks.
Well, what was your arrangement with them?
My arrangement was $325 a month, and it was supposed to be including everything but food, which is gas and electric, stuff like that.
When did you make this arrangement with them?
Arrangement was made with them in July, the beginning of July. Other than that, but they, I'd watch his son when they were up doing whatever they wanted to.
What money did you give them towards the expenses of running the house?
Well, we did only give them $40. We had no agreement before we moved in.
Let's say you didn't.
Okay.
What about food?
She said she took care of the food. We could eat whatever we wanted. Her cabinets were always stocked. As long as if we made dinner, we made enough for everybody, and they would do the same thing.
Well, who bought the food?
She did.
Why should she support you?
We actually, when I started working, we went out to eat like every night. We started keeping food up in our bedroom. That's why the fridge was in our bedroom that my mom bought us, because we felt like we weren't allowed to eat there. All we did eat there was like eggs, cereal, macaroni and cheese, just side items. We didn't get into any meat, any expensive things whatsoever.
What difference does it make? That's food. Why should they support you?
That's just what she told us when we moved in. That
Why would she do that? Why would she do that? I don't believe that you necessarily had a rent arrangement with them, but I certainly believe that you didn't have an arrangement with them where you were going to support them like they were your children for the 6 weeks that they were there. And even if they paid minimally to cover some of the expenses, $50 a week, which was minimally what you absorbed while you were there, that would be $300 for the 6 weeks that you lived with them. I think that the rest of your stuff here maybe is worth $500. The difference in that is $200, and that's what you're going to get, period. Plus the remainder of the stuff that she has that's in storage. That's all. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is case number 312 on the calendar in the matter of Collins versus Tierno. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Ms. Collins, your complaint against the defendant is as follows. You lived together for a brief period of time. You decided that the relationship wasn't for you. You were moving out. According to you, the defendant became a little hostile, had a hissy fit, and damaged your property, your car, and personal property. He says, well, there might have been some weakness in the car that caused the damage. He really didn't do anything wrong. Right, sir?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How long did you live together?
It was about 3 months.
Okay. And what date did you decide to move out?
It was in August, the 23rd. Actually, it's 22nd.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
I was packing boxes to put in the car and had the hatchback open, and he came in.
Your car has a hatchback.
Yes.
According to
yes. And he saw the boxes and started freaking out, getting mad. Oh yeah, you want to leave? Go ahead. And I'll help you. And just start loading boxes out and taking and dumping them. And he dumping him in the car, like in a big pile. And one of the boxes, my video camera came flying out and just broke it.
So he was helping you pack.
Helping, exactly.
And putting the things in the hatchback. Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
Then, on top of everything else, he put my stereo, my speakers, and he was trying to close the back, and he was doing like over and over, and he did it really hard, and the window broke. It was just a mess.
So that's the property damage that you're complaining of?
Yes.
Because there was glass all over your clothes, and it shattered, and whatever. Okay.
And paints, my paints were back there, I just dumped them out, and they were on my good suits and everything, and so that's what happened to my suits.
Well,
what paint and
Where was the
glitter and
paint
stuff
from?
stuck. Well, I'm an artist, and I had some paints and things, for arts and crafts.
Oh, so he
took and dumped them on top of my clothes, right?
Okay.
And then the speakers and the stereo went on top of that.
You have photographs of the car and an estimate for the damage, so I can take a look?
I have receipts. I don't really have photographs.
You have receipts for the hatchback window? That's what I want to see.
Out of the box and went for a tumble on the street.
Okay. How much did you pay for it?
It was about $600.
You have a bill?
No, I couldn't find that receipt.
All right,
And
Mr.
then-
Tierno, let me hear your version of the events, sir.
You want to hear the whole sordid story from the beginning?
No, I don't want to hear the whole sordid
First fell
story.
in
If I
love
wanted
and
to, I'm
all that?
speaking. Listen to me. You asked me a question. At least give me the courtesy of permitting me to answer your question.
Okay.
I do not wish to hear the whole sordid story of your relationship. I wish to hear what happened on the 22nd of August when you came home and found her packing.
I came home from work. She was packing boxes. She said, I'm packing my stuff and moving. It's not working out between the two of us. This just came out of left field. I asked her what she was doing, and she said that she
I'm
was
leaving.
moving out. So I helped her. I started helping her.
Tell me how you did that.
What's that?
Tell me how you helped
Throwing
her.
stuff around.
Interrupt him.
I grabbed the boxes that were packed already, and I put them in her car.
What happened to her window?
What happened to her window? When I felt that the car was full, I went to shut the back window, and after shutting it, or after trying to shut it a couple times, I gave it one good one, and it just broke. The window broke. I didn't do it intentionally, ma'am.
No, it was negligent. Either it's intentional or it's an accident. An accident usually is a result, happens as a result of negligence. She didn't break the window.
No, she didn't, ma'am.
So who should pay for the window?
Well, how about the things that she broke of mine, personal property that...
Please, Ms. Collins, I don't have a counterclaim, Mr. Tierno, so let's not get into what things she broke of yours. What I want to know is, who do you think should pay for the window? Let us assume that I accept your version of the events, that you come home from work, you find her packing. You had no clue that she was going to leave.
Right.
But you very calmly decided to help her pack. And you were packing and putting boxes. I'm speaking.
Excuse me.
According to this is what you just told me.
Right.
You were packing and you put the boxes in the car, and then you tried to close the hatchback at the time when you felt as if the car was full. You tried it a couple of times, and then you finally gave it one good one, because those were your words. Wasn't that his word? One good one.
One good one.
And the window shattered. So my question to you is, who should pay for the
Well, it didn't
window?
really shatter, it just
Her,
cracked, but...
her, or you?
Well, in an argument between a man and a woman, and we got into an argument, and she was throwing things at me, breaking stuff, of mine, okay?
You mean on that day, August 22nd?
Yeah, we got into an argument.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me that, Mr. Tierno.
Okay, well, maybe
The
I should
Mr.
expand on that a
Tierno,
little
what
bit.
you told me, sir, was you were helping her pack because she wasn't working out. She wanted to leave. You didn't say anything about an argument, sir.
Okay.
So now you had an argument.
Yeah, we had an argument.
Oh, that's a different story. So when
I
you...
thought you would realize that, I come home and my girl is packing up her stuff, and yeah, it was kind of...
Oh, no, sir. She said you had an argument. You just said that you came home and you were helping her move her boxes in the car. So there was an argument.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you break any of his property?
No, I did not break any of his property.
She did break stuff of mine.
What did I supposedly break?
Quiet.
And later today,
Car just lost control.
He grabbed the steering wheel. He didn't just grab it and make it move and make me lose control of the car. He grabbed it, pulled it down right here, and held it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Carlene Collins says ex-boyfriend Bobby Tierno destroyed her belongings after they broke up.
What are the receipts you have?
The other receipts I have are for the suit, my good work suits, and my art supplies that got smashed underneath the stereo when it got thrown in there, and paint everywhere and stuff. And then after that...
Did you break any of his property?
No, I did not break any of his property.
Okay, just asking you. I don't have a counterclaim, so I'm just asking
I
you.
didn't throw anything.
Whether there's a counterclaim or not, I mean, the truth is she did break stuff of mine.
Well, I don't have
What?
a counterclaim, sir.
What did I supposedly break?
Quiet. Now, what suit are you talking about? Which suit is this?
There was a few. I don't have them all. I just have
I'm
like
not.
one of my good ones.
Listen to me. What suit is that? That's the suit that's there. Because I have a bill.
This one, actually, this one I didn't have a receipt for.
Ms. Collins, why would you save this suit for which you don't have a receipt and not bring the suit for which you do have a receipt?
Well, because I thought that I could somehow save this one. There's the skirt doesn't have anything on it. You know, the other ones were just it wasn't even worth saving. They were just.
You should see my apartment when she was painting all over the place on my furniture.
Listen to me. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you now. I'm asking her a question. You're not. This is not a bad thing that I'm asking her questions.
When I decided to file a claim and sue for that, I had already tossed the stuff.
All right. He absolutely owes you for.
And there was some time.
He absolutely owes you for a new hatchback glass for your car.
Why?
Why? Because you broke it, sir. That's why.
Now, he was calling.
Why? Because you broke it.
Well, how about the stuff that she ruined in mine? How about the rent?
Sue her. Just a minute. Sue her.
I understand.
Do you understand? She has the right to sue you, which she has
maybe
done.
I could talk some sense to
Which
you.
she has done. She sued you for breaking the hatchback of her car, which you acknowledge that you did.
And the time off of work.
Judgment for the plaintiff. The car cost you $2,094.45. Thank you very much. That's all.
What about?
That's it.
Why is our excuse? You may step out.
He knew what he did. You know what? I guess he just thought that he just wasn't going to have to pay for anything.
When we get in a fight, she'd throw things, and she'd knock over a little knick-knack on the table or a lamp.
I don't break things.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Spear versus Green. Step forward, please.
22-year-old waitress Jamie Spear is suing the father of her child, 20-year-old Job Corps worker Antoine Green, for the cost to fix her car. Jamie says Antoine caused her to crash into a telephone pole.
Ms. Spear, you and the defendant have a child in common, and it is your claim that the defendant caused your car to be totaled.
Yes, ma'am.
You were driving the car, but his actions caused your car to be totally wrecked. The defendant says that it was your fault, that you were arguing with him, and you had no business driving anyway because your license was suspended. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is the child that you share?
2 years old.
Now, what was he doing in your car?
Okay, he went to Job Corps about a year ago. He just got back and he just got a job. This is the first job he's had in going on 2 years. So this is the first real child support.
You went to Job Corps?
Yes.
What did you do in Job Corps?
I took up a trade, brick mason.
And you came back and got a job as a brick mason?
No, I came back and got a job as, I'm working for the city of Winston-Salem right now.
Go ahead. Okay, he called me that day because he was getting off work early. He wanted me to take him to cash his first check, and I agreed. And so, being this his first check.
Okay, so far, was that your first check that you were getting from your job that day, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you ask her to go? Did you ask her to come and pick you up?
Yes.
Okay, so I picked him up, and he wanted me to go cash his check, and we're on the way, and we decided that we weren't going to go through the court system to get child support. He wanted a chance to just give me money or pay for her. And so I asked for $40 a week. As we're going to go cash the check, I said, okay, this is what I want from you. Mind you, I haven't had any child support up until now. So he started telling me that he wasn't giving me money for me to go partying with or to waste and spend on myself. And it hurt me because I've been doing all this by myself. So that started a heated argument, and we started arguing. We were driving down the road. He got mad. He reached over, he grabbed the steering wheel. He didn't just grab it and make it move and make me lose control of the car. He grabbed it, pulled it down right here, and held it. So we went up on the sidewalk, we hit a tree, it kind of sideswiped, and then we hit a telephone pole, I think it was, in front of that, which stopped the car. Luckily, there wasn't a scratch on any of us, but the car is totaled, and my daughter was in the car. We could have all died. We were lucky.
Who takes care of your baby?
I take care of her. When I go to work on the weekends, his mother keeps her.
So you only work on the weekends?
No, I work on Monday nights and Thursday nights and Friday and Saturday.
You get any sort of sustenance from the state?
No, just I had daycare assistance, but that's it.
How many days a week?
5.
Well, what do you do when your daughter is in daycare?
Well, I was working lunches, but I wasn't making enough money, so I had to go back to working dinners.
Why don't you find another job to do if you're getting daycare?
I'm going to school in January, and I'm trying to find a second job. I am.
Why don't you work breakfast and dinner and lunch? I mean, if the state is paying for your daycare, Miss Spear, they're paying for your daycare not so you can stay home and watch soap operas in the afternoon. They're paying for your daycare so that you can be out there working.
Right.
Now, you have a suspended driver's license?
I do.
Why were you driving?
Well, actually...
Not actually. Why were you driving if you're not supposed to be driving the car?
The day that the accident happened is when I found out that my license was revoked. She came back to me and said that your license had been revoked.
Why was it revoked?
Because I had an outstanding ticket.
For what?
For speeding.
That you didn't pay?
I haven't had the money to pay.
Well, that's because you were home watching soap operas instead of working lunches. Now I'll hear you. Did you know, Mr. Green, that Miss Spear had a suspended driver's license?
Yes,
when
I knew
you
that.
called her?
I knew that.
He did not.
Did you?
know.
Shh.
I'm sorry.
He says he did. When did you find out that she had a suspended driver's license?
I found out when the accident happened.
Oh, so you didn't know?
Yeah, I know now.
It's not what I asked you. I want you to try to follow what I'm saying.
Okay.
Now you tell me your version of the events. You called her up and she turned off her TV and she came to pick you up. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. Pick it up from there.
So she picked me up from work. I got off early, and the first thing she asked me is about the child support. She wanted me to give her $40 a week.
Now, how much more was that than you had given her all of last year, sir? Last year, how much were you giving her a week?
I wasn't giving her pretty much.
What?
I really didn't have a steady job then.
Just a minute. Oh, now I understand. So, you didn't give her anything last year?
I gave her something.
How much?
If I could, about $50, if I could.
So you gave her nothing last year. And the year before, how much were you giving her a week, the year before?
Yeah,
a week?
It was close to a couple of $100.
A week?
Yeah.
Really? You were giving her a couple $100 a week?
Yes.
That's a lot of money. Where were you getting a couple $100 a week from?
I had a good job then.
So why did you go into Job Corps?
Because I wanted to get a trade to make more money.
Well, you didn't do that.
No.
It didn't help you.
No, I'm still working on it, though.
You gave up a job where you could afford to give her $200 a week to go into Job Corps? How much were you making at this job?
$300 a week.
So Mr. Green, you are one of the most generous people I know. So you're making $300 a week from your job and you're giving her $200 a week child support. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
You believe that? This is coming from a man who didn't want to give her $40 a week.
No, let me tell you.
$40 a week. So you're telling me first you were giving her $200. Let me follow this, Mr. Green.
I didn't want.
You're giving her $200 a week because she had a really good job making $300 a week. So 2/3 of your income you give her. Then you wanted to get a better job with the trade. So you went to Job Corps where you couldn't send her any money. Then you came out and you got a job where you were making how much a week at this job working for the city?
About the same thing, $250, $300.
$250 or $300 a week, right? So why weren't you giving her $200 a week? The last job you had where you were making $300 a week, you were giving her $200. What happened in the car, sir? So she asked you for $40 and you said, I'm not giving you $40.
No, I'm not giving her no more money. So she started arguing. You know, we was arguing real loud for a minute, for about an hour, driving on the road. The car just lost control. So I grabbed the wheel, tried to pull the car back on the street. But instead, the car hit the pole and then hit up against the tree.
Okay. What was the total damage to the car?
I wasn't able to get an estimate because I can't afford to get the car towed anywhere. It's not drivable, and I can't afford to have anyone come out and look at it.
When did you buy the car?
In February of 2002, this year.
And how much did you pay for it?
$1,600.
Okay.
And then the value of the car is valued at $2,600.
I don't care what it's valued at, madam. Miss Spear.
And then
you think that I believe he's totally responsible for this? I don't believe he's totally responsible. I believe that you're partially responsible. You don't have a fight in a car with your baby in the car over anything. You stop the car and you say to him, get out. stop the car, pull over, and say, get out. And then you would have gotten out of the car and you would have composed yourself and you would have continued. You don't fight with them back and forth, especially with a baby in the car. Don't you think the baby hears you screaming back and forth to each other? 2-year-old child understands that.
May I say something, Your Honor?
No. Takes two to make a fight. Two idiots to make a fight driving in a car with a baby. You want to have a fight with each other in a car, bad enough. You're placing yourselves at risk, other people on the road at risk. But to have a fight in a car with your child in the car screaming and yelling at each other is the height of stupidity. So the car, you paid $1,600 for that, I believe. You only get $8. The other $8, work off at lunch. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800. That's all.
Now, this is case number 264 on the calendar in the matter of Cochran versus Marsh. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Cochran, according to your complaint, you and the defendant had dated for a period of time. You became ill and were hospitalized for a period of 2 weeks.
Yes.
When was that, sir?
August 30th.
It is your claim, sir, that Miss Marsh, during the time you were hospitalized, took your bank card and withdrew some $1,700 from your bank card without your permission.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you started to complain to her about taking the money after you were released from the hospital, you then claimed she filed false stalking charges against you. You were arrested. You were forced to wear a bracelet, an ankle bracelet monitor, which you had to pay for.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in total, you are suing her for some $3,000 because you say that these charges were false.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So let's start with the hospitalization. What were you hospitalized for, Mr. Cochran?
My doctor said I was under a lot of stress from working a lot. I took a vacation to get away, but it didn't do no good.
So it was a psychiatric hospitalization?
It was behavioral medicine.
Were you self-admitted or did someone admit you?
They took me by ambulance.
From where?
From McDonald's, where the defendant works.
What happened? Did anything happen in McDonald's?
I felt kind of hot and felt like I was going to faint, and they said I fainted in front of the counter.
But there wasn't a scene or anything there?
No.
Now, how did you get custody of his bank card?
When Paul was admitted to the hospital, he had bills that needed to be paid. His father brought the bills to him at the hospital. He told me to come up. He needed me to take care of his finances. Paul, myself, and the psych tech had to go to security for Paul to release the bank card, the bank number, and details as to what I was supposed to do for him. Yes, Your Honor, I did withdraw the money, which I have proof of, to pay his bills. I have the bills that I paid for Mr. Cochran.
Can I see them, please?
These are the withdrawals. These are most of the bills that I could gather up. That's about like $900 and some worth. And I also have the bill where he said he loaned me $300, that I deposit $300 into its account.
Are you saying you paid $300 of your own bills out of his money?
Yes, I did.
You have a letter indicating that it was with his permission that you paid $300 worth of your bills?
No, I don't have a letter.
Then you can't pay $300 of your bills using his money.
Okay.
Ms. Marsh, because if Paul is there for a psychiatric hospitalization,
okay,
you don't do anything with regard to your problems. You only deal with his problems if you're being a friend.
I did that, and I replaced the $300.
Oh, okay.
This is what I was...
Okay.
There's it right here.
When did you replace the $300?
On 9/5/01.
What did he buy on his Zales account? A jewelry store?
He had bought a ring for me. He had bought like a necklace for me.
Did you buy gifts for her?
Yes, Your Honor, but I paid cash for him before we went on vacation to Orlando. There was only one bill that was paid while I was in the hospital, and that was $209.
Capital One bank credit card, $30, $83. Sprint cell phone?
That was her cell phone, Your Honor.
How do I know these are his bills?
Well, because we both had buddy phone bills. I have those.
You paid Sprint $125, and then you have another money order receipt that you paid Sprint $83.15.
For the 2 cell phones.
Well, why were you paying your bill from his account?
Because that's what he told me to do, Your Honor. He said...
No.
Because the phones were in his name.
No. But he's not using them. You had one phone. Who's doctor, a dentist?
I had to have a tooth extracted, and $70, yeah.
So why are you giving me this bill as a bill that you paid for him?
That was one that shouldn't have been in there, but okay.
So I got a Sprint bill that shouldn't have been in there? I got a jewelry store bill?
That's part of the loan, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Can I see how much money was taken out of your account?
It was showing there what was deposited and what was withdrawn the same day, the $300.
All right, now, Miss Marsh, when he got out of the hospital, what happened?
Paul wanted to continue dating, and I told him, I said, Paul, too much is going on. I just don't think it's going to work out between the two of us. And that's when Mr. Cochran started stalking. And
he didn't say anything to you about the money that was taken out of his account?
No, ma'am, he never said anything about the money. This issue came up after the breakup.
Your Honor?
Yes.
The day I got home, I received a bank statement showing the withdrawals, and I called her and asked her why she withdrew the money from my account without my consent.
And what did she say?
And she hung up on me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have they advised you to be under psychiatric care?
No, Your Honor.
Have they advised you to be on medication?
No.
I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Cochran.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paul Cochran Jr. says ex-girlfriend Odella Marsh stole money from his bank account while he was in the hospital. Paul says when he was released, Odella had him falsely arrested for stalking.
Now I want to hear about this bracelet. Why did you have to wear a bracelet, sir?
I went to the police station on the case on the bank account.
Okay.
I was arrested in the police department on a warrant by the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department in our town to say that I was stalking her, intimidating her, and invasion of privacy.
Were you doing that?
No, ma'am, I was not.
How was he doing that, Miss Marsh?
Mr. Cochran was phoning my house. He was creating problems on my job to where they fired him out from off of my job. And he came up to the job one day, just radical. He had, that day he had the gun with him. And I left, and I have witness, I went to the police department, and I just was filing.
Do you have the papers from the criminal court which ordered you to wear the monitoring bracelet?
Yes, I do.
And the certificate of
I have
disposition?
everything.
I have.
I'd like to see the papers, please.
Okay,
I
here's
got the arrest warrant and everything.
here's everything contrary. Okay?
Is hers.
Thank you. What happened when you appeared in court on July 15th, 2002?
When I appeared in court on that day, his case was dismissed because the last incident where I had to use the panic button, of which I had a device that I carried in my car every day, which was ordered by the court, and also had a panic button that I was to keep on my persons at all times. Mr. Cochran was out by the apartment building, and the machine didn't go off. That stunned me because it's supposed to pick him up.
Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead.
On July, they said that there was several false police reports on the incident, so the prosecutor and the judge dismissed it because of false police reports, and the prosecutor checked in on it, which the monitor will pick up if I come in with 500 feet. On the day that she hit the panic button, I was not in the area. Somebody else was driving my car at the time to see if there was a false police report being made. That's why the case was dismissed. There was an undercover police officer driving the car.
Your Honor, I have a witness that knows how Paul reacted during this time.
May I speak, ma'am?
Sure. Who are you?
I'm a coworker of hers.
Go ahead.
I was the one who called 911 when he had the seizure in the lobby. I was the one who barred him permanently from our store because he had come in to talk to her after he had gotten out of the hospital.
What happened when he would come into the store?
He would try to talk to Odella, and she did not want to speak to him, and she had told him that before, and I simply said, things are not going well. Please leave her alone. If you cannot behave like a gentleman, you can no longer come in here.
Did he not behave like a gentleman when he came in?
He was loud, and he stayed for hours, would not allow her to do her job.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have friends that went there, you know, older guys. I've been going to that place ever since the day it opened up, and I never, ever harassed or anything. I just...
No. Listen to me, sir.
Yeah.
You were asked not to go back.
I didn't go back after the day I left the hospital.
Yes, he
I
did.
never returned.
Yes, he did. I asked him not to come back, And a week later, he came back again, and Odella was there, and he wanted to talk to her, and she did not want to speak to him, and that is when I permanently barred him from the store.
So he came back one other time?
He came back another time after that.
When was that?
A week to 2 weeks after that. The first thing I did was call Odella, and I said, he does not look right. He had the same look he had the morning that he passed out and had the seizure on my floor. Please be careful.
Did you ever see him with a gun?
No, I did not. But I am the one who encouraged her to get the restraining order, and I am the one who had her make copies of the receipts.
The copies of the receipts are...
Apparently they're not doing any good, but...
They're not doing any good because they're all not his bills. You're going to get the money back that was taken from your ATM because she can't establish to my satisfaction that she used that money for your benefit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You are not going to get back the money for having been forced to wear a bracelet because I believe this lady when she tells me that you were in her place of business when you were told that it's not a good idea for you to be there. And my sense is that you were frustrated. I don't know why, either because you still cared for the lady or because you were angry over the money or whatever reason, but that you didn't do the right thing, and she was afraid because you weren't exactly right. Are you under medication now?
No, Your Honor.
You're not?
No.
Are you under any psychiatric care right now?
No, Your Honor.
Have they advised you to be under psychiatric care?
No, Your Honor.
Have they advised you to be on medication?
No.
I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Cochran. In any event, I'm going to get back the money from your ATM card, but not for the electronic bracelets, because that was probably necessary. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She was filing false police reports and trying to intimidate me, making me look bad and her look good.
He became just a maniac.
I hope people that see this realize what women can do to you. You know, they can clean you out.
Hopefully this is over. Paul will move on with his life and just leave me alone.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Norris versus Thorpe. Step forward, please.
Student Diane Norris is suing her estranged son-in-law, 24-year-old construction worker Travis Thorpe, for an unpaid loan for legal fees, travel expenses, and interest on the loan.
Miss Norris, the defendant used to date your daughter. Is that right?
They were married, Your Honor.
They were married.
Yes, ma'am.
When were they divorced?
They're not divorced yet.
So they're still married?
Yes, ma'am. Separated but married.
When did they separate?
In April of this year.
Do they have children?
No, ma'am.
According to your complaint, you made a loan to the defendant for some bail and attorney's fees. And he's paid you back some, but hasn't paid you back all. You want your money?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of his offense? Do you know?
It was a technical violation. He hadn't paid his fees.
What kind of fees, sir?
Probation fees.
What had you been arrested for?
Burglary of a structure was my original charge.
And you bailed him out?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you give him?
Altogether, it was $750 for his probation fees, $638 to get the attorney to get the bond set.
And what was your arrangement with him?
Travis agreed to pay me back when he got his income tax return. And they only got back about $300. So they paid me about $150 out of that. And then the following year, when they got another income tax return, they paid me about $300.
I will hear you.
Okay, first of all, when I was in jail, I didn't ask for the money. She gave it to my wife at the time, but I still felt I needed to pay it back. So I signed my income tax check over to her, which was $1,289.
Can I see it, please? Are you his wife?
Yes.
Step up, please. Tell me your first name.
Jennifer.
Jennifer, when your husband was arrested, you called your mother, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You asked her for the bail money?
We went and got...
No, you asked her.
Yes.
And what did you tell your mother with regard to when she would get this money back?
I told her that we would pay her back as soon as we got our income tax.
You told her that?
Yes.
Not him. You told her that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I wanted to give the entire thing to my mom, and he was like, no, I can't do that, you know, and he had to spend, you know, $1,000 of it on drugs. So I made him give my mom $300 out of it.
What happened to your marriage?
He He fell in love with another woman.
That make you angry?
Yes, it did.
Make your mother angry?
No, it didn't make my mother angry. She has no say in it. I mean, I did ask her for the money, yes. It was me that asked her for the money because he was in jail. But, I mean, the whole time he was on the phone, please get me out of jail. And I loved him, and I had to get him out of jail.
Just to say, listen to me.
I'm sorry.
He was talking to you.
He spoke with my mother a lot when he was in jail. He spoke with her and me.
He did. I went to jail to visit him, and he told me when I went to visit him that they would pay me back with the income tax refund.
Did you tell her that you would pay her back?
Yes, I did say I would pay her back, so I signed my income tax check over to her. I gave her that entire income tax check and paid about $600 on the bond. I paid all but $320 on the bond, and then all my probation fees.
The bond wasn't even $600. It was $500 to begin with. And we didn't have enough cash, so we put my mother's car titles up, her and her boyfriend's car titles up to get the bond, to get him out. Nobody ever paid the bond. It's still up. They're trying to take away my mom's car and stuff.
What do you mean it's still up?
Like, the bond still hasn't been fully paid. So they want to take away my mother's truck, her boyfriend's truck, and her car because he hasn't fully paid the bond.
Your Honor, that's what I've paid on the bond.
Yeah, but you still have a balance.
Of $320, yes, ma'am.
So why don't you pay it?
Well, I don't know if they put up their cars. I was in jail when all this happened.
What, are you an idiot?
Well, no, I didn't know that that's what they had to do.
You stopped paying on this, sir. You stopped paying on it in 2001.
Because I didn't have any money to pay the other $320.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself, or with my girlfriend.
But by yourself is not with your girlfriend. You got to tell the truth right away.
I live with my girlfriend.
Do you work?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
A construction worker.
Good. If you do construction work, your girlfriend works, I assume?
Yes.
This is the girlfriend?
Yes.
Then you have money to pay the bond. What do you mean you have no money to pay the bond? What are you, a fool?
Well, at that time, I didn't have the money to pay for it.
You have it now? What is wrong with you, sir? You have responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Your evidence cooked you goose. I almost believed you that you turned over your whole check to her. And then I see this piece of garbage where you give me a piece of paper that says that you had a responsibility to pay a bond, that you knew somebody else was obligated to pay, and that you pay $3, $5. You made one payment of 60 cents at one point.
I just had to pay something when I went in every week to report.
She could lose her property. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I don't believe there's any.
There's a lot wrong with you. He's a loser. He doesn't take care of his responsibilities. The attorney's fees, the bond, the fines, less the money he paid you, $1,108. Listen, it is your responsibility to take care of your debts.
Yes, ma'am.
You screw up, you're supposed to take care of it. Nobody else is supposed to take care of it. Do you understand?
Yes. And that's why.
Do you have a car?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Does she have a car?
Yes.
You put gas in her car?
Yes.
Do you put food in your mouth at least twice a day?
Yes.
Do you go to a bar occasionally? Go out for dinner once in a while?
Yes.
You don't do anything until you take care of your responsibilities. That's what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you take care of other things. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Lucky you got out of this marriage before you had children.
Exactly.
Very good. Goodbye. Thank you.
Now, this is case number 220 on the calendar in the matter of Akins versus Jenkins. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Mr. Akins, according to your complaint, you and the defendant lived together for about a year and a half.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We lived together like for 6 months.
You were together for a year and a half.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of that year and a half relationship, 6 months was spent living together.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then things didn't work out, you broke up, and you said that you had an agreement with the defendant that she had owed you some money and you owed her some money, and you decided to leave some of your things there and to forgive certain other things that she had damaged of yours, and she would forgive all the bills that you owed her. You just go your separate ways.
Yes, Your Honor.
But what Miss Jenkins did was she took you to small claims court.
That's correct.
For the bills that you owed her, and you claim she did that in violation of your agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
So now you want her to pay for the things that you claim she owes you for.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right? And I've read your answer, Ms. Jenkins, and I know I'm paraphrasing. This is not really what you said, but it's pretty much what you said. You said, grow up.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
So, Mr. Jenkins, let's start with the things that you claim she owes you.
All right. First of all, Your Honor,
The things I'm suing for is the TV that I purchased from Miss Jenkins when we first got together. And,
Okay, TV.
Yes.
Now, when did you purchase the TV?
About 2 months into the relationship, Your Honor.
Before you were living together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about how that came about.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, we was dating and Ms.
You were
Jenkins-
dating?
Yeah. Ms.
And
Jenkins-
one day you bought a TV.
No, I bought it for her because she was in financial need. She didn't have a TV in her apartment. And so, me being her friend and boyfriend, I looked out for her and got her a television set.
As a gift?
No, as a loan. She promised to pay me back the money for the television set.
When did you buy her the television set?
December of 2000.
Around Christmas time?
No, I think after Christmas, about close to the New Year, Your Honor. This wasn't a Christmas gift.
Did she go shopping for it with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the TV.
It's a Panasonic 27-inch.
Was there an agreement to pay him back for the
No,
TV?
ma'am. He bought it for me because he bought it because I didn't have a television. A couple of friends had let me borrow a television, but he said that he would get me a television, and it was before Christmas. It was December 2000, before Christmas.
Okay. Now, from December of 2000, Mr. Akins, until the time you broke up, which was when?
Beginning of May, Your Honor.
A long time. Did she make any payments on this loan for the television?
She gave me $50 after that initially, and then she also had other expenses, like she used to get her car towed all the time.
No, you're not paying attention to me. Don't try to get ahead of me. Mr. Akins, do you think that you think that I'm going to forget my question?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
You know, I'm not that old, sir. Did she make regular payments to you after December of 2000?
Yes, Your Honor, she gave me $50. Your Honor.
When?
She gave me about 2 months afterwards.
Is that right?
No, I didn't give
Get
you
out
any
of
money
here.
for
He
the
doesn't even
television.
remember. What did you have for lunch yesterday?
Your Honor, she did make the payment.
All
She
right.
gave me a payment on the television
Good.
set.
She made a $50 payment 2 months after that.
Yes.
And what about the rest of the money?
And it never came up again, Your
Never
Honor.
came up again, and then you moved in together.
Then we moved in together,
And did you
Your Honor.
both watch the 27-inch Panasonic?
No, that TV was in her bedroom, Your Honor. Later on, she bought me a television set, and then after we broke up, she wanted me to pay her back for the television set. So as we was breaking up, I said, well, why would I pay you back? I bought you a television set for $400, and you never gave me a dime for it. We had an agreement during that time that everything was split even.
You are just gonna continue to go your way, and I'm telling you that I control my space.
I understand.
So I have questions. When I finish with my questions, if I need any more information, I'll ask you, Mr. Akins.
I understand, Your Honor.
So that's one thing that you're suing for, the TV.
Yes.
Right? That was purchased before you moved in together.
Yes, Your Honor.
What else?
A mixer and a crock
mixer.
pot.
Tell me about the mixer.
The mixer I bought at Best Buy for the defendant, for our household goods, because we were together. So I bought it for the household, and the crock pot for her, Your Honor, because she wanted it.
A mixer.
A mixer, a
And how
$200 mixer.
$200 mixer. What about the crock pot?
Crock pot was like $50. I have prices right here from Best Buy.
I don't want the price from Best Buy. I want your paid bills.
Well, I don't have the bills, Your Honor. They were left at her house, at her residence right now.
I have the receipts. I have the receipts.
Whose name are they? His?
No, my name. My credit card name is on the receipts.
Let me see.
The bills weren't paid in the credit card. It was paid through me, through my employee discount for the crock pot and the mixer. She didn't purchase the crock pot and the mixer.
Ma'am, we both work at Best Buy, so it was both of us have the same.
Power stand mixer was $39.60. Where do you get $200?
The mixer is worth $200. The judge told me I have to come back. When I went to small claims court, she had to sue for the original price of the mixer.
Let me ask you a question, sir. If you want to go to small claims court and go before some person who told you that you're entitled to $200 if you're successful on something that you paid $30 for, I think you ought to go and find her. That doesn't happen here. Even if I found that you bought this thing and that you were entitled to it, you could go to you still work for Best Buy?
Yes.
Go there and spend another $30 and get another mixer. Why would I give you $200? You're just annoyed because she wanted judgment against you. That's why she said, grow
No, Your
up.
Honor.
Me too.
I'm not annoyed because...
Then we have a crock pot, which you said was $50, which was $14.
14. I haven't seen these receipts.
Yes, ma'am.
$14.70.
I haven't seen these receipts.
He never seen a receipt because I purchased it.
No. Show him the receipt.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
there was no verbal agreement.
We lived together for 2 years, and you telling me we had no verbal agreement. We were together.
Speak not!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Elmer Rakin says ex-girlfriend Tiffany Jenkins owes for property she either stole or destroyed. Tiffany says Elmer needs to grow up.
What else do you claim she owes you for, Mr. Rakin?
On 2 occasions, the defendant came into my apartment before we lived together and destroyed my personal property.
Okay, just a second. I read that. You said that was sometime in October?
Yes.
And then you moved in together?
Yes.
Why did you move in together?
Well, she came to me with a sad story, talking about, oh, we had scheduled to move in together, this and this and that. Oh, I can't afford to move in together.
What's this and this and that?
I can't afford to move and get a place on my own. So I was like, okay, we can reconcile, we can get back together, and we can try to make this work.
Very good. Then you forgave her all the things that she allegedly broke when you had...
No, I didn't. We never talked about it, Your Honor.
You never talked about it?
That's what came at the end.
Why do you expect me to talk about something that happened 2 years ago
this is where I'm coming to, Your Honor. With
now,
the
sir,
end.
Mr. Akins, don't try to talk over me. Now I've got the drill. You want the things that she allegedly broke, and then you want the mixer and the crock pot, receipts for which she has that are in her name, that all amount to maybe $40. Then you want a TV that you purchased for her before you were living together 2 years ago. Now you're going to explain to me about your agreement.
And I also want for a rider bill. I moved in her stuff out of her old apartment into the new apartment, and I also pay people to move her. I have the rider bill right here, if you want to look at it, Your Honor.
I don't. It's not even in your complaint. It's not in your complaint.
Well, I have to take that up later.
You can't take that up later, Mr. Akins. I'm going to tell you why. Because you have one opportunity to file all claims that surround the same incident. You can't pick and choose and say, well, I'm going to sue her today for the mixer, tomorrow for the crock pot, the next day for the television, and then 2 weeks from now I'm going to sue her for the TV, because that is called harassment.
Well,
that's called harassment.
Well, Your Honor, she sued me.
Shh, listen to me. So, if you didn't include it in this claim, this rider bill, that claim is forever over. I want you to understand that. Now you can tell me why her suing you and what she sued you for caused you to file this lawsuit.
Well, at the end of the relationship, she said I owe her money for a television set that she purchased for me. During the time that we was living together, she moved in one of her best friends into our apartment. Her friend was supposed to pay me $400 for back rent. I said, we could do this. She won't have to pay me the $400. She verbally told me she was going to give me and give it to you, and we'll be settled, and the whole thing will be over. After that agreement, she got with me, and I say, okay, I'll pay her back for the television set that she purchased for me just to get her out of my life. Later on, a week later, I get a summons that I'm getting sued for the same television set that I'm paying for, and the back rent, even though we had a verbal agreement from the inner relationship that the whole thing would be over, and that we each other get on with our lives.
Was that clear as a bell to you?
I have no idea what this man is talking about.
I don't either.
Oh,
It's all complicated, Your Honor. It's all complicated.
Oh, I know.
But all I know is we had a verbal agreement that bygones would be bygones.
It's like the Treaty of Versailles. Miss Jenkins.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you want to say to me?
Okay, there was no verbal agreement after, when I went to camp.
Yeah, we lived together for 2 years, and you telling me we had no verbal agreement. Well, we lived together for 6 months. We lived together.
Speak not! Listen to me. You bought the crock pot?
Yes, ma'am.
That's here. You bought the mixer?
Yes, ma'am.
That's here. I'm not interested in things that you may have broken before you moved in together. He forgave those things because I assume that after you moved in together, quiet! That after you moved in together, you did share a bedroom, did you not?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did share a bed, did you not?
Yes, ma'am.
What? If somebody gets angry because you broke their best Baccarat crystal, then you don't share a bed together and get up in the morning and say, you're going to pay me for that glass tomorrow, remember. That doesn't usually happen, so forget about that. Now, as far as the television is concerned, I don't find that was a loan.
No, ma'am, it wasn't.
But I'm just curious. He says there was another television set purchased. Who purchased it?
He purchased the television with my credit card. I came from out of town, and he had a sale auction at his store, and he went and bought the television for me. The television was
You're talking about 2 years ago?
No, ma'am. The new television.
Okay.
He bought it with my credit card.
I sent him to the store with my credit card to get it because I had drove 7 hours that day. I went to Cancun. When I came back, the television was gone. I asked him why he didn't take the television he paid for and leave.
That's not true, Your Honor. That's not true.
Just a second.
When I came back from Cancun, he was gone.
Oh, just a
Almost
second.
out.
So he took the TV?
Yes, ma'am.
He took the TV that was purchased on your credit
Yes,
card
ma'am.
that you are still paying for?
Yes, ma'am.
I gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jenkins, I have a relatively good short-term memory. When we started this case, I said that Ms. Jenkins, in her answer, seems to be saying, why doesn't he just grow up and get on with his life?
Well, Your Honor,
I think that's a very good idea.
Well, Your
The case
Honor,
is dismissed. Grow up.
Thank you.
please.
23-year-old Scott Fitzgerald says he got his girlfriend's name tattooed on his arm when they fell in love. Now Nicole LaSavoy is Scott's ex-girlfriend, and he wants her to pay to have the tattoo removed.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is number 120 on the calendar in the matter of Fitzgerald versus LaSavoy. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated.
This lawsuit has a lot of parts, so I'm going to try to simplify it. You've known the defendant and dated since you were teenagers, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. How old are you now?
23.
22.
And now you're not together anymore.
No.
You claim that the defendant owes you money for several things.
Yes.
Let's take the simple ones first.
Okay.
The car.
The rental car.
Right.
Yes.
Tell me what she owes you for the rental car and how you came to lend her the money for this rental car.
Okay, she owes me a total of $2,081.72. This came from charges on my credit card. She was in an accident. Her insurance didn't cover her rent a car. There was a dispute between who was at fault. Last I knew, it was still disputing. This happened, I believe, the end of November. Her parents wouldn't help her out with the car. Her dad has 2 cars, wouldn't loan her one. She had to get to work, other things.
And you put it on your credit card?
I told her that I have a credit card that she can use. However, I had just bought a house and money was kind of tight, so I asked her that when the minimum payments came in, she would make those payments. She agreed, everything was fine. Went down there, left the card.
Did she ever make payments on the car?
Never.
You owe him this money?
Yes, I do.
All right, you seem to acknowledge that you owe him this money in your answer.
Yes.
And that bill is $2,081.72.
Yes.
You acknowledge that that's the amount?
Yes.
You spent a lot of his money, so that's so far we have that amount. Let's keep tabs on this. Okay. The next thing you're suing her for is for damage caused to your property.
Yes.
Tell me about this damage, when it was caused, sir.
Well, it's hard for me to think of the exact date that it started, so if I can go with this. We broke up in the beginning of March. Throughout the next about 2.5 months, we were talking, trying to work things out. There was times where she didn't want anything to do with me. There was times where I didn't want anything to do with her. We would start to argue and get upset. It always happened at my house, the conversations, and you know, when I would be done with it and I would ask her to leave, I would tell her to leave. She wouldn't leave. I would begin to get stronger with telling her to leave. There was many nights where I would lock her out of my house because I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She would kick my door in, my front door, kick the panels through. She became very insultive to my roommates. Every time she would leave, she would run through my wrought iron gate and slam it so hard that it would bend through past the stopping point. There was one night where her and I were supposed to go to the lake early in the morning. We began fighting throughout that evening. And when I say early in the morning, we were leaving at 5 to meet with a friend. At about 3 o'clock, we started arguing, fighting. I told her, look, you're not going to go with me to the lake today. I'm going. Let's cool off. She didn't like that, wouldn't let me leave. She became physically abusive with not letting me leave. I managed to make it into my car by tricking her, going around to the passenger side, crawling over. As I'm doing this, she's standing there kicking my car door. Then I go to leave, drive about 2.5 miles to my friend's house that I was meeting at 5. She follows me the whole way, stops in the gas station behind me. More abuse, more insults. I just get in my car and take off, spilling gas all over the back of my car. I get to my friend's house. She follows me up that driveway. It's about 5:15 in the morning, might even been earlier. She's yelling, waking up his neighbors. His neighbors are reaching out their window, asking us to keep it down. I finally agree because I feel really bad that it's in my friend's house and my friend's neighbors are getting upset. I go out to the street with her. I'm talking with her. Finally, she leaves. There's been many cases. She's insulted my roommates.
I'm not interested in her insulting your roommates.
Okay.
I'm not even interested in her insulting you. You're not going to get compensated for it, sir.
Right.
And the fact is that you told me that she was invited over to your house frequently, and each time you said she came over, she slammed the wrought iron gate. Then, well, if she keeps doing that, then you stop inviting her over. You didn't expect me to...
It was... I understand.
You didn't expect her to pay for that.
No, I don't.
And you
That
didn't
was
expect
my
her to pay for
foolishness.
Of course it was.
However, what I do expect her to pay...
Let's cut to the chase.
Okay.
Because I have other things to do today.
The main instance that I'm concerned with was there was 2 different times where she kicked in my door because I didn't want to talk to her, and I asked her to go home, and she wouldn't. The main night was the night that it was about 3:30 in the morning. I was on the phone talking to somebody that I had met a few nights before. We were out at a club. I asked her to call me when she got home, make sure she was all right. Nikki called my house once, hung up, called again, said, I love you, hung up, called again, who are you talking to? I said, a friend. Whatever, I don't want to talk to you, I hang up on her. She drives to my house, it's like 3:34 in the morning, drives to my house, I hear her car pull up, I go outside, she appears to be calm. She starts interrogating me about this girl, and when I'm answering, she spits on the back of my head. I get up, look at her, and say, go home, I'm going inside. She goes to my front door first. I didn't know what she was doing at this time. Later, I find out that when she went to the door, she flicked a cigarette in my house. Because about 15 minutes later, when her and I both make our way into the living room talking, and she says to me, you don't care about me, well, look how much I care about you, and points to my couch, which I have pictures of. The cigarette festered the hole.
Your Honor?
When I tell her to leave, she runs to the TV that she bought for me for Christmas, slams the TV against the wall, knocks the cable box off the wall, causing a dent in the wall, of which I also have pictures of. That's the cigarette burning the couch. That's the whole couch. When she hears me talking on the phone with the police, she lunges at me, bites me on my arm, of which I also have pictures of.
Would you like to also include that you were grabbing me and that a week before you would beat me? I have a police report to report that.
Just a minute, that's not the truth of the matter is that may be relevant in some other proceeding, but it's not relevant to this proceeding. You're not suing for that.
So when she hears me dial the phone, she lunges at me and bites on my arm. As soon as she hears me talking with the cops, she realizes I'm telling the truth because I had threatened many times before, but to be honest with you, Your Honor, the reason why this went on for so long is because I felt like a wimp calling the cops for a girl.
Is this these pictures of your arm, sir, to show me a bite?
Yes, would you like me to point it out?
Yeah, but you're not suing for this, sir. You're not suing for assault. No. So, I mean, although this is terrible, I don't have to look at it.
So, as soon as she hears me talking with the police officers, she runs out of my house, knocking over a chair on my porch, running through the gate, slamming it past the breaker point. I do have a picture of that also. And the last thing that I remember her saying to me are, oh, by the way, I'm Rob, a guy that she works with.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Guess what? It took me a nice 3 days to get over you.
It took me less than that, Nikki. I just had to wake up.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Scott Fitzgerald says when his girlfriend Nicole broke up with him, she left behind numerous unpaid bills.
Now, the last thing that you're suing her for is tattoo removal.
Yeah.
That I'm sure you want to tell me about.
Yes, I think I need to because it sounds funny.
It sure does, so let me hear.
Okay, we started dating back in 3.5 years ago. Okay, about 2 months after we began dating, she put I love Scott tattooed right here on her stomach. Okay. The night at the tattoo studio.
First mistake.
Actually, it wasn't 2 months.
Well, maybe it was
2 months,
3 or 4.
6 months, 20 years, it's always a mistake.
The night at the tattoo studio, she looked at me and said, okay, it's your turn. I wasn't about to do that. For the next 3 years, not that often, but every 6 months or so, every couple months, she'd throw in a little comment about, oh, I have your name tattooed on me, go get my name tattooed on you. Constant things. Okay, back then, I loved this girl incredibly, and I honestly thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with her. So, yeah, I chose to go and get the tattoo put on me because of her, all right? Since then, with all the changes, now I would not have done that either unless she had been constantly bringing it back up. So I did it. Tattoo said, always loving my little Nikki.
Always loving my
little Nikki. Now, since her change in attitude caused my change in feelings about wanting to spend the rest of my life with her, it might sound ludicrous, Your Honor, but I can't help feeling that because of her change in feelings, it changed my change in feelings. I can't help but feeling that she's partly responsible for having that tattoo removed.
Okay, so you told me. You
Yeah.
got it off your chest?
Yep.
Got it off your chest? Good.
Actually, off my arm.
Okay. Miss Savoy, the thing that I want you to address first is this incident where you clearly burned his sofa with your cigarette.
I did throw the cigarette on his couch.
Why? It's 3:30 in the morning. You call your old boyfriend. You find him on the phone with somebody else. You're annoyed. You get into your car, 3:30 in the morning. Big mistake. First mistake was the tattoo you put on yourself. I'm sure there were others in between, but you were angry. You got into your car and you went over there. So tell me your version of what happened.
I was upset with him. About a week before I threw the cigarette on this couch, we got into a really big fight. We were supposed to go out, and he got angry about a joke I made about his car or something. So I was going to leave. He slammed the door as I was opening it and strangled me.
That's not true, Your Honor, at all.
She was very quiet when you were talking, Richard.
Because I was telling the truth,
No,
Your
no,
Honor.
just a second.
I'm
She
telling
was
the truth.
very quiet when you were talking. Go ahead.
He grabbed me in his arm right in here, and he dragged me through the hall and flipped me on his bed and got on top of me, and he started strangling me, threatening to kill me and him. And every time I would try to scream, but nobody was home, I was trying to get his neighbor's attention.
This was a week before the cigarette.
Mm-hmm. He attacked me like that, and then I threw the cigarette on him, on his couch, because I was upset.
Just a second. Did you throw the cigarette on his couch then, or
Yes.
this 3:30 in the morning incident?
3:30 in the morning.
So that was a week later.
Yeah.
Just a second. Are you a smart girl?
Yes.
A guy grabs you, puts you in a chokehold, assaults you, and according to you, a week later, you went to his house at 3:30 in the morning. Does that sound stupid?
Yeah.
So you got there 3:30 in the morning, and what did you do?
Well, we were trying to work things out, and he said that he was just apologizing, and he wanted us to get back together. And then that night that he tells me he's on the phone with some girl, yeah, it really upset me. So I went over there, and I shouldn't have.
He apologized for what happened a week before, and then you found that he was on the phone with somebody else. So you damaged his sofa, right?
Yeah, but he's making a much bigger deal out of it. It's not like his friends haven't destroyed it anyway.
Well, I mean,
I know I made a hole in his couch.
It doesn't look like it came from some boutique collection in the most expensive
And
sofa
dirt
store.
stains can be cleaned off.
You may just have to live with this little cigarette hole in your sofa, sir, and the tattoo on your arm. Do you understand? This was a long-term relationship. It clearly has ended, I assume.
Yes.
Now, not very difficult. You have a countersuit. Your countersuit is for all your belongings that are at his house. You say he refuses to give you his belongings. Have you gotten them back?
No.
What do you have at his house?
I have all my dishes, all my furniture, like 10 boxes of personal belongings, books, clothes, a dresser,
And you
basically everything
acknowledge
I
that
have.
all that is in your house, sir?
Yes.
I've been living for 6 months without anything, no furniture, nothing.
All right.
I can't make a meal at home, nothing. And he says that we have an agreement, which is not even true. He did not tell me that he was going to keep my things till I paid him back. He did not ever say that. He said that when he got upset with me one day.
All right. Well, when you're in love, everything is wonderful. When you break up, nothing is wonderful.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said you were going to give me my as soon as I had a place. You are so...
Not true.
Oh my God. I don't even believe I went out with you. You are such a loser.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Scott Fitzgerald says when his girlfriend Nicole broke up with him, she left behind numerous unpaid bills.
You clearly owed him $2,081.72, an amount that you acknowledge was put on his credit card, and it was a loan, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to pay him that. As far as the damage, sir, all the damage and all the things that you told me she broke, deal with it. Deal with it. The relationship is over, and the only damage that I saw, quite frankly, is a cigarette hole to a very old battered sofa. Now, you can have it mended, you can turn over the cushion, you can do a lot of things so that you don't have to look at it. I'm certainly not giving you $500 to $1,000 for a new sofa. If you want $25 to have a weaver come in to see if they can fix up the hole, I would consider that. But as far as $500 to $1,000 for a new sofa, forget about it. And as far as having your tattoo removed, that's your stupidity. Again, you deal with it. Now, let's get to her things.
One more thing on that note, Your Honor, please. The car door, have you addressed that? I have an estimate for that.
Did you bang in his car door?
She kicked it in.
Did you kick in his car door?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was being a jerk like he always is.
Give me the estimate.
Your Honor, he's making me out to be the bad guy here, like I'm the abusive one. He's always abused me throughout the entire relationship, kicked in apartment doors, car doors, everything. Beat me a few times.
That's not true.
That is true. You are totally lying right now, and you know
then
it.
Miss Savoy,
Beat
listen
you?
to me.
Yes, you have.
Hey.
A few times? Beat you? Even once?
Then you were foolish for sticking around, and you were foolish to go over there 3:30 in the morning to try to get him back. Do you understand?
You're right, and I'm gone
Good.
now.
So, then it's a good lesson. All right, so what is this whole thing? Install labor, tent glass, rear door handle. She did all this damage?
Well, what's listed on there is not the damage. What they have to do when they do an invoice, they have to break it down for everything they have to do in order to fix it and give an actual time quote on how long that takes. She kicked in my door, so what they have to do is they have to break down the time.
Which door? I have front door, rear
My
door.
Passenger, which would be the right front door. So what that breaks down is removing the moldings, removing the door handle,
Yeah,
painting
but it says I have a
prepping it.
rear door here, rear upper window molding, rear door handle. What does that have to do
No, I
with the
think it's
front door?
right. I think what is
Right rear. I have right rear, right front. Looks like they fixed the whole side of a car, not just one door. Take a look.
If
what it
I can
says.
look at it, I'll tell you.
Sure.
What that is that says refinish and blend, because there's going to be new paint on that one door. It's not an old car, Your Honor. It's a '92 Ford Explorer, and I don't plan to keep it forever. When I go to sell it, they're going to see that that door's been repainted, and I'm not going to get as much money for it. Why do I have to lose that? So what they have to do is they have to blend the paint on the back door, since it's next to it, as well as the paint on the front fender.
All right, let me see it.
It says over here on the second column under labor type, it says refinish and blend.
Okay. Temper. Okay. When could she have all of her property?
As soon as I get my money.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
Okay. When could she have all of her property?
As soon as I get my money.
Well, you're going to get your money. $2,573 is what you're going to get. And that gives you $25 to have somebody come in and weave out this cigarette hole. So you're going to get your money. You want to do this exchange within 3 days?
I can't do it within 3 days. I'm working.
I'd like it.
Why not?
3 days.
Because I'm working, Your Honor.
When can you do it, sir?
To be honest with you, I'm having my house is being remodeled inside right now, and everything is like torn apart.
Money's safe.
So I can get it by not this weekend coming up, but the next weekend. I'm off that Saturday and Sunday, and I can spend those whole 2 days going through my house, everything that belongs to her.
Okay. Furniture?
There's very minimal furniture. There's a table and some chairs, as well as a mirror and a nightstand. And I think that's it for furniture. The rest of it's appliances.
What kind of appliances?
There's a microwave, coffee grinder, coffee machine, a blender, a toaster oven.
Where are you living now, sir?
I live in Burbank.
Are you living in the house while it's being remodeled?
Yes. But everything that was in my living room, bedroom, and office and hallway has been pushed into my kitchen. You can't even walk through there because I had the hardwood floors refinished.
Okay. A week from Saturday, make arrangements to pick up all your things. Do you understand?
No, Your Honor, I have a restraining order out on her. She can't come to my house, but I've already said that I'm more than willing to pay for a delivery company to pick everything up from my house.
Good. A week from Saturday, deliver it.
Okay.
Your
Okay?
Honor?
There. What?
I would like to go up there with a cop so I can get my things because I don't trust him to give me all my things back.
He's going to give you all your things back.
I don't believe he will.
Just a second. I can't. You have a restraining order. Is that right? He just said that there's a restraining order against you. Is that
Can
correct?
I send one of my friends over there?
No. He's going to sit. I don't want to create any more difficulty. I assume he does not either. If he's gone so far as to get a restraining order against you, Miss LeSavoy, I assume he doesn't want you to come again. I assume that if there's any item that is questionable,
I don't want
you'll
any.
use the smart thing, do the smart thing, pack it up and send it over. Good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Excuse me, step out. Back to you, right.
On the next Judge Judy.
That's why I took out a restraining order.
Well, that's why I changed my number, moved, and changed my pager number.
Cool,
So
then stop calling my parents, because that ain't gonna get me back.
I don't want you back. Trust me, I'm happy.
She loaned her ex-fiancé, Albert Johnson, her car. While Albert was driving, his new fiancée, Sharitha Cornell, smashed into it, but she denies it.
Order, all rise. Quiet, please. Your Honor, it's number 147 on the calendar in the matter of Smith versus Cornell. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, sir.
Are you Albert?
Ma'am.
Didn't you know you were coming to court today?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are you wearing shorts for?
I thought it was, I'm saying it was gonna be nice.
All right, Miss Smith.
Yes.
Albert over here, the one in the shorts, is the father of your daughter.
Yes.
And you're engaged to him now.
Right.
According to your complaint, you lent Albert your car.
Yes, I did.
And she hit your car.
Yes, she did.
You weren't in the car.
No.
She was in the car.
In her car.
And you were driving.
Yes, ma'am.
Objection, because she I want to make a point that I have the statements from the officer that she gave her complaint to. She said that she was in the car, she was driving when this happened.
Okay, but she wasn't.
And she
And
also...
she was not. And she was not in the car.
Albert!
Uh-huh.
Stand up here. You want to stand on that side?
Shh. Order.
Tell me what happened when you borrowed her car.
I bought a car, then I had synced Cornell on Grand. So I had got out the car, I had parked her car in the front of her car.
You parked her car in front of her car.
Right. Then I had
Yes.
just put her car in reverse and backed up into her car.
Just a minute.
Why you lying?
Miss Smith, I don't want you to say anything. I'm in charge here. Let me be in charge. I like being in charge. Get up here, Albert. Right up here. Shh. You borrowed her car. You saw her driving in her car. So far, am I right?
Yes.
Was her car parked or moving when you saw it?
Parked.
Was she in it?
No. She was in the store.
So what did you do?
I had one of my friends that told me they had seen her in her car. Then it was another guy driving that car. So I helped her buy the car that...
Don't tell me what your friend told me. You were annoyed.
Right. And I bagged up into her car with her car.
So you're telling me her car was parked?
Yes.
Your fiancé?
Yes.
And you pulled in front of the car, pulled into a parking space, and backed into it?
Yes.
That was pretty stupid. Wasn't it?
Yes.
Why would you do such a stupid thing?
Because I was mad because it was another guy driving her car.
Mm-hmm. Are you back together again now?
No, we together.
With her?
Yes.
You with the defendant, Miss Cornell?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I gather you straightened it all out.
Mm-hmm.
That is a yes or a no?
Yes.
Uh-huh. How many times did you back her car into her car?
About twice.
Did you cause some damage to her car?
Yes.
How much damage?
I don't know how much damage was.
What do you do for a living?
I do the odds and ends.
What kind of odds and ends?
Paint, cut grass.
For cash?
Yes.
Just you stay right there. What kind of car do you have?
A 92 Chevy Cavalier.
And you?
A 90 Chevy Cavalier.
Did you have your car fixed?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Now, Miss Smith, do you have any objection to my adding Albert here as a co-defendant in your lawsuit?
No.
You know what that means?
No.
That means that I'm adding you as a co-defendant in this lawsuit, sir. That means that since you have just acknowledged to me that you caused the damage to the car, right?
Yes.
You should pay for it. Why are you looking at me with that blank stare, sir? What words didn't you understand that I said? You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. Because, Miss Smith, quite frankly, since they're back together again, I'm not going to get the truth out of him.
That's right.
Probably won't get the truth out of her.
Sure won't.
Because she was in the store.
I have a police report that she gave, since you won't get the truth out of me, she gave to the police an hour and something later after the accident, her lie, since you can't get the truth out of me.
Miss Cornell, you don't understand, madam. Something is not getting through in your head. She wasn't in the car.
She said she was.
But you know she wasn't.
Okay, but she said she was.
What does that have to do with the damage to her car?
It has a lot to do with it. It has a whole lot to do with it. At the time of the accident, they were engaged. This was his fiance at the time of the accident. They had been broken up for 9 years prior
Just
to
do me a favor.
that.
Could you be quiet?
Yes, I can.
Good.
I surely can.
Step down over there next to
I
your
surely
fiance.
can be quiet. I surely can.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You want to change the story? Huh? It's not an answer. Hey, quiet.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Curtis Dean Smith says she loaned her ex-fiancé Albert Johnson her car. While Albert was driving, his new fiancée, Sharitha Cornell, smashed into it.
Can I see the estimate for the car, please?
Okay, spread it out.
The estimate for the car is $1,562. Is that right?
That's without it being painted. That's just to pull the dent out the trunk and the side and fix the bumper.
It ain't even no dent in her trunk.
Have you been in my trunk?
It's not even a dent.
Have you been in my trunk?
Shh. What's all this other stuff here?
That's to fix the car and to paint it.
You have insurance in this car?
Yes, I do.
How much did you get from your insurance for this?
At the present moment, when the car was hit, there wasn't any insurance on the car.
What? Excuse me?
Yes. I had dropped the insurance 2 months before the accident happened.
I see. So the insurance doesn't become effective until the 16th of May, and this accident occurred on May 4th. Is that right?
That's right.
And you had no insurance on the car prior to this?
That's right.
Okay. Albert! You better do a lot more odd jobs, sir. Because you owe her for the damage that was done to her car. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Now, Miss Cornell, you have a counterclaim. For what?
Because she lied and told the police that I hit her car while she was driving the car and he was in the car. The officer contacted me and told me what she had said. Told me that I would be arrested for first-degree assault because there was assault on her and she was pressing charges. Of course, I got very angry. I got stressed out. I had to be hospitalized due to that. You know, her lying. You know, and me finding out that I was going to have to go to jail. I also was jailed. I had to pay for someone to keep my children due to her lies.
Just a second. You were jailed when, madam?
I was jailed on the 20th of May.
Let me see the papers to prove that.
And then right after that, 3 days later, she called me looking for Albert because he supposedly ran off with her car again.
What does
and
that have
she
to do
had
with
him
this?
locked up. She had
What does
him
that have
locked
to
up
do
for
with
running
this?
off in her car. I'm not talking to you
listen,
because you're not the
Hey,
judge.
listen.
Excuse me, Judge Judy, I apologize.
I can't listen.
I apologize.
Just a second.
apologize,
Just
Your
a
Honor.
second. You told the police that you were in the car.
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
When Albert had called me and told me that Sharitha had hit my car, I told him to call the police. Albert said he had a warrant on him for his arrest, so I told him to bring me my car. We went down to the police station and made a report, and I said I was the driver. I also went back.
So you lied to the police?
Yes, I did.
Well, you were also asked by the police whether or not you wish to press charges against her.
And I said yes, I did, because she hit my car.
But not only did she hit your car with you in it and then took off. Isn't that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
That caused her to be arrested. Do you know that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I also went back to the police station, tried to change the report, and I couldn't locate the officer, so I talked to his supervisor, and he said just tell the judge that.
Well, by the time you got to tell the judge, she had already been arrested. How long did you spend in jail?
A day, Your Honor, a whole night.
That was the wrong thing to do. You understand that?
Yes.
You're suing her for $1,250, is that right?
That is.
All right, not a difficult case. Albert, you are going to pay her, the plaintiff, $2,604, because that's what you said you caused in damage to her car. She doesn't have to pay for that if you're covering up for her, and if she actually hit the car and you're covering for her, then it's going to cost you $2,600. You understand me? You want to change the story? Huh?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I know you feel like crying.
State hospital, that's where she belongs.
Yeah,
you see
you
what I'm
know
saying?
what? That's where you belong.
And later today,
Are you thick or what? There is a difference between your brother giving you a gift and a 17-year-old who you know has a crush on you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Albert Johnson borrowed his ex-fiancée, Curtis Dean Smith's car. She says that while he was driving, his current fiancée, Sharitha Cornell, ran into it.
You want to change the story?
No. No.
Okay. On the other hand, madam, it's going to cost you $1,250 because that's what she's suing for. You filed a false report. You two folks together?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Well, then this makes it easy. You're only going to get $1,444 for your car. Do you understand that?
Why is that?
That's because I am deducting the $1,250.
Cool with me.
Cool with you?
Cool with me.
Perfect. That's all. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,444. I have deducted what you owe her for filing this false claim because this
Thank you, Your
couple,
Honor.
this lovely couple is now together. I'm
That's
treating them as a
right.
couple.
And I'm going to send you an invitation to our wedding.
All these ice cream, step out, please.
Make sure I put that in my date book.
She don't need that money to fix her car. She need that money to buy her a man.
And now the next case.
Parties on Gibbs versus Edwards. Step forward, please.
17-year-old supermarket clerk Noelle Gibbs and her father Stanley Gibbs are suing 21-year-old Alex Edwards for the shoes she bought him. Alex says Noelle had a crush on him and the shoes were a gift.
Mr. Gibbs, why don't you tell me, sir, why you are suing this gentleman for $140.70?
Yes, Your Honor. My daughter is under the age of 18. She's 17 years old.
That's you.
Is Noelle. And so I originally filed a suit ad litem as a guardian, being that she's underage. So the reason...
What is this for, sir?
The suit is for a pair of shoes that was purchased by my daughter from Sport Chalet in Valencia store for Mr. Edwards as a loan.
Why did you purchase a pair of shoes for him, Noelle?
He was hinting around that he needed a pair of shoes.
Where do you know him from?
He works at the store right next to where I work. I work at Thrifty's, he works at Bonds.
Are you friends?
Well, yeah.
No.
We were friends, yes we were.
Order.
He hinted around that he didn't have the money for the shoes and that he had them on hold at Sport Chalet. And I said, well, I could loan you the money, you know, and you could pay me back. And he said, first he said no, then the next day he goes, okay, and yes he would. I can go get the shoes for him.
Is that what happened, sir?
No.
Well, let me hear what happened.
She's been harassing me she's had this high school crush for about 9 months. I made up every excuse in the world not to go out with her. She buys me some shoes. Right after she hands me the shoes, my witness is right here. She says, will you go out with me? I said, no. I said, I only have $4. Then she goes, I'll pay. I don't like her. I've never been her friend. I don't go by and see her. She comes by and sees me. I don't bother her.
Are those the shoes?
Yeah. Here.
Just a second.
No, they're not. Those are not the shoes.
Those are not the shoes?
No, they're not.
Hand them back.
Just a second. She bought your shoes.
These are the ones I got in the box.
Okay. Are they your size?
Yes.
How did she know your size?
I think she asked me, actually. Yeah.
Well, tell me the circumstances surrounding her asking you about your shoe size.
She's always asked me if I'd go out with her. She finally got her truck back from her dad. So I said no, because I'm saving up for some shoes. She said, what if I buy you the shoes? Can we go out? I said, well, I'll think about it. So I did get the shoes. And I thought about it and I said no.
Just a minute. You still didn't tell me how she got your shoe size.
I didn't think she would get the shoes, so I said, yeah, I wear size 11 if you want to go get them. The ones I want are Sport Chalet.
Okay.
She comes to my job with the shoes.
Okay.
I really didn't think she would get it. I thought it was just like a joke. I didn't think she would really do it.
Okay.
And then,
did you agree to pay her back for the shoes?
No.
He didn't agree to pay you back for the shoes.
Yes, he did.
Well, there's no question. He got the shoes. The only question is, were they a gift or were they a loan?
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
Do you, sir, make it clear to me that you have no interest romantically in this young lady? Is that right?
I'm not her friend. I'm not nothing.
Just
I never
listen.
liked her nothing.
Hey.
Okay,
Right?
yes.
By accepting a gift from her, assuming it was a gift, you are encouraging her. Do you understand that? Oh yeah, what does that mean?
You know, that's a conversation.
Hey, do you understand that, Mr. Edwards?
Yes, okay.
And that's unfair. By accepting a gift, you did the wrong thing. Right?
I don't think so. Not really. I mean,
then I'm going to.
If my brother gave me a gift, then do I owe him also?
Excuse me, who gave you a gift?
If my brother gives me a gift, I can't stop her from doing. I can stop
are you
that.
thick or what? Are you thick or what? There is a difference between your brother giving you a gift and a 17-year-old.
I told her many times.
Hey, you're talking over me, and I have a bad throat today.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a difference between your brother giving you a gift and a 17-year-old who you know has a crush on you. You encouraged her, even by your own statement when you said to me, she told you, well, if I buy you the shoes, will you go out with me? That's what you told me,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And instead of you saying, absolutely not, you said, we'll see, maybe. Isn't that what you just told me, sir?
Yes, yes.
So you encouraged her. A, that's cruel. B, by taking a gift, you made it not only cruel, but there's a certain insensitivity there and greediness that I don't like. So you are going to pay her $140.70. You have the receipt for the shoes? Is that what the bill was?
Yes. It's,
$140.70. Got it? Good. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She was trying to buy me. She should have went and got a prostitute.
No,
she won all that. She could have got herself a prostitute. If I buy you the shoes, will you go out with me?
I did
That's
not
what you said.
say
That's
that.
What, they put this kind of effort into a Stairmaster, they would be fine.
The mother of his child, Kelly Holman, for running out with their daughter and leaving their apartment bare.
Order, all rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. All rise. Judges number 74 on the calendar in the matter of Osborne versus Holdman Chesmar. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, ma'am.
You're Mr. Chismar?
Yes.
Why don't you have a seat for a moment, sir, even though you're a co-defendant in this case.
Great.
My reading of these papers suggests that you're really not a party in interest to this. Mr. Osborne, I read your complaint, sir. You and the defendant were engaged for about 2.5 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
And during that engagement period, you had a child.
Yes, ma'am.
Sort of not the way things are supposed to happen, you know.
She'd asked me to marry her.
No. She didn't make the baby herself, right?
Well, she wanted the...
Order.
She wanted the child. I did not at the time. Because I didn't know about our relationship and trusting her.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes, ma'am.
Engaged for 2.5 years, had a child. According to you, you were in jail for something. You'll tell me what in a minute. She moved out. When she moved out, she took $1,500 worth of your personal property.
And my child.
And your child. No. So, what were you in jail for?
I had a warrant for $100 owed to Burbank Court. And I got in a fight with a friend over buying a car. We were wrestling in the driveway. The neighbors had called the police. They asked me if I had any warrants. I told them yes. And they took me in on that, and that only.
Why didn't you take care of these warrants?
Because we had moved in together and got a one-bedroom, and it was the expense of the child and all that. I couldn't afford it at all. I was trying to make a life for us and
Stop
the
it.
utilities.
You're making me cry. What were the warrants for, sir? Warrants for parking tickets, driving while under the influence,
No,
speeding.
driving on a suspended license. I had done the time for it, but I owed court assessment, $100.
And how long were you in jail?
10 days.
And what happened while you were in jail?
In that time, she had taken my stuff, her stuff, and my child, and left the state.
Ms. Holdman, first, why don't you tell me why you left while he was in jail?
Well, first of all, we had a 3-day notice because Mr. Osborne did not get a job, and I could not pay rent and bills on my own.
Were you working?
No, I am disabled.
What's the nature of your disability?
Epilepsy.
So you received a disability check for yourself and the child?
No, at the time I was not receiving disability yet. I was on AFDC.
Okay. AFDC was paying the rent, so why did you get a notice to leave?
Because I could not afford the full amount of rent. And I could not afford the full amount of rent, and I could not afford all the bills. Mr. Osborne had run up phone bills that I have, and he did not give any part of his to help pay for bills or rent.
So you decided to leave. There had to be more than that.
No, ma'am. We got the pay or quit before he went to jail, and he knew that we had to move.
Is that the pay or quit notice?
Yes, I have two of them.
May I see it, please?
They only asked for $50 to continue the rent. They made a deal with us.
You decided to move out. I have a feeling that there was more to the reason that you moved out, moved far away than just this pay and quit notice. But you left. Now the question is, did you take any of his property with you?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Now, he's suing for $1,500. What property do you say she took?
She took dishes, clothes, her king-size bed that she had loaned us.
Just a second. Hold on. Let's go slowly, Mr. Osborne. Let's start with the bed.
Right.
The bed wasn't yours.
No.
Good. So let's forget.
But
the
Lorraine
bed.
wants it back.
Just a second.
It was a
That's
loan.
her problem. I'm talking about you. She's not a co-plaintiff. You. What stuff did she take of yours?
She took ultrasound photos of the child and everything I had of the child.
Not everything. I want to hear, sir, what she took. Ultrasound photos of the child.
Yes, ma'am.
What else?
She took all my clothes.
Clothes. You say she took your clothes?
Yes.
What else did she take?
There was a fish tank, equipment, a little miniature pool table that I had for Brandy.
What else?
She had taken all my dishes.
Dishes?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of dishes, sir? Limoges?
Plates, cups, glasses.
What else? That's not...
Everything in the apartment. Everything in mine that I had.
Mr. Osborne.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not why you're here, sir.
No, I'm here because of Brandy.
No, this is not why you're here, because this is a lot of baloney.
It is. And I don't care about the material things.
Because you're suing her for $1,500, but so far you haven't given me $15 worth of stuff.
I have all kinds of things that went of value. I had 4 suits in there that were $600 each. I had all my clothes. That adds
Are
up.
you telling me you spent $600 a piece on 4 suits? You must have some good job.
And if you, yes, I did.
I don't have any use for your suits anyways.
Listen
why
to
would
me.
I take
I don't know why.
Mr. Osborne, you're not here because of this property,
I'm here because of
sir.
Brandy. I could care less about my stuff, material things.
Well, what do you
if
want?
I win, I'm going to use that to get visitation. She will not let me see my child, and she says, take me to court.
I tried to let you see your kid.
Just a second. So she says in her answer to your complaint that this is all about getting some money so that you can hire a lawyer, so that you can sue her in whatever the domestic relations or family court is in
Visitation
your
is
jurisdiction.
all.
Is that why you're here, sir?
Yes,
to get
ma'am,
money
it is.
so that you
Yes,
can hire a lawyer?
Yes, I was hoping to see my child today, and she's not.
That's why you're here.
Yes.
To get money for a lawyer.
Yes.
This is not a proper forum for you, sir, to abuse the system, to come to court for that reason.
No, I also I need some clothes, something to wear.
Did you take any of his clothes?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Now, you're a co-defendant. Stand up, sir. You're suing him because why?
He was a party of taking my stuff. He helped her move out.
How do you know
He's
that?
a witness of all of.
How do you, just a second, how do you know that?
She had told me, and
Who
there's
told-
another.
Who told you?
Who told me? John Brown, another friend of Lorraine's, who was told her Lorraine that he had helped her
Can't
move
hear all
out.
that. I mean, it's a court, sir. Did you help her move when she left?
The only thing I moved out of there, I didn't move anything personally, ma'am. I just had back surgery, so I wasn't lifting or doing any of that. They had brought out a dresser, the king-size bed, 2 dressers, and that was it. That's all I hauled.
You didn't haul that yourself.
No, ma'am.
What about her clothes? What about her stuff?
I didn't haul any of that.
Do I look like I need help? What does that have to do with you, her clothes?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Kelly and I were. When I get to that house, go ahead, hit me, and I'll put a lawsuit against you. Yeah, I'll bet you will.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 26-year-old Kevin Osborne is suing the mother of his child, Kelly Holman, for running out with their daughter and leaving their apartment bare.
You had somebody, according to these papers that I have, come in and take out your things.
A friend, the most expensive stuff. My
You
tools.
had a friend come in and take out some things.
Your Honor, I don't know who took my stuff.
Mr.
I don't know if it was
Osborne,
my friend.
Did
if
you
it was
just say to me that you had your friend come in and take out the most expensive things, your tools?
Yes, because that's what I did for a living.
Well, then it's not logical, Mr. Osborne, for the defendant to have taken suits which she can hardly use and left the most expensive thing
She does it to-
with the tools. I mean, if she was going to take something to sell them, certainly it would have been far smarter for her to take the tools, which she probably could have sold.
She plays games, and she takes it just to when I get out of jail, so I have nothing.
So
she wants
far,
to ruin
Mr.
me.
Osborne, the one who's playing a game is you, who's playing a game with a court.
No, ma'am. No,
with
ma'am.
a court, because you're not here because of the things she allegedly took from your apartment.
Yes, I am.
Your problem, the two of you, is that you made a baby and you had no right to make a baby until you had made a life together. That's what you did. That's a mistake.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's a mistake.
why I wanted to wait to have a child.
I want to tell you something. I would run away from you too, sir. You don't know how to be quiet. I mean, there's something very controlling about your manner. What I'm telling you is you made a baby, you had no business making a baby, but now baby has two parents. So I assume that eventually a judge is going to hear this case. I assume you've been legally declared the father of this child, sir, is that right?
No, not legally, but it's in the birth certificate.
That's not legally. Well, if you... What?
That's all I have. I don't have the money to do a DNA test.
Another reason why I left him also is because he's mentally and physically abusive, and I have proof of that. I have permanent scars on my body that I've never asked him for a penny. He's lived off of me all his life since we got together.
I want to pay child support. She won't even let me pay child support.
Then that was very bad judgment on your part.
Yes, it was.
Especially if you have a disability. That's very bad judgment on your part to live with somebody who is abusive. Clearly, this was not a relationship that was destined to go on for 25 years. Unfortunately, you made this child, and the child has two parents. All I want to know, sir, is you don't need $1,500, which is what you're suing for, to go into court and file a petition asking legally to be declared the father of this child. Once you're legally declared to be the father of this child, along with that comes certain rights. One of the rights is to have a regular time to see your daughter. Regular. That's what's supposed to happen. It's not supposed to be a controlling situation so that you call whenever you want to see the child. Because clearly that's not going to work here. So you're going to have somebody else set up a schedule for you. But you have to go into court to do that. Are you still receiving AFDC?
Yes, ma'am, just for the child, and I'm receiving disability for myself.
Well, if she's receiving AFDC for the child...
Your Honor, when she was living with me, in all the places that she was living, she was getting AFDC and welfare and saying that she was living at their house. That's perjury. That is lying to the social service who I'm talking to now on fraud, welfare fraud.
I don't think so.
Notified welfare when she moved.
Let me tell you something.
She worked with my mother. I moved her in when I first met her to take care of nurse and take care of my mom and maid. And she did not claim that she was living there earning money.
Yes,
Lorraine is a witness.
office.
Is all that Kelly, her granddaughter, has done to me. I'm living with Lorraine now. We were supposed to get married.
She's not my legal grandmother.
No, but she took custody of Kelly when she was 12 years old.
No, she did not. I ran away to her when I was 12.
Listen, I'm really not interested in going back to the flood, sir. What I'm telling you is, and I don't mean to be hard on you. I really don't mean to be hard on you. But this is the mother of your child. You're not supposed to put her in jeopardy. By what you just said to me now, you have placed her in jeopardy. Why would you want to do that?
Because she is not. She's not a fit mother. That's why.
And like you're a fit father.
I have witnesses that she was at a bar drunk, staggering, and she's supposed to be a mother of my child.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did I ever hit you?
Yeah, what the hell is this?
Oh, no.
What is this?
You were drunk.
Yeah, I was drunk.
I pushed you. Did I hit you?
I was
No.
drunk. Yeah.
And later today.
Do you really believe in this position that you've taken for me?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, then let me tell you where you're all wet.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
I would hope that whatever judge hears your case and hears your petition for paternity and custody or visitation, whatever you will be seeking, does a full forensic examination, that is a full psychiatric and psychological evaluation of both of you. And I would assume that once those forensics are done, if they are done by a qualified person, the judge will have all the information that he or she needs to make an appropriate order for custody or visitation. My case here is a very simple one. You have not established to my satisfaction that she took anything from this apartment that belonged to you, and I am dismissing your lawsuit. With the proviso, sir, that if you want visitation, and not just to be tootin', you go into court yourself, you don't need a lawyer, you petition the court to be legally declared the father of this child. They will immediately make an order of support so that I, the taxpayer, don't have to support your child, which I am doing now.
She won't let me pay child support.
Just a second.
She wants to keep collecting AFDC and keep my child away from me.
Listen to me. Judge, listen to me, Judge. full forensic examinations before you make any order. This case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Out the back door to your right, please.
She keeps their marriage going, and she's told me some of the things that she does with them.
He's jealous. He's jealous of the relationship
Maybe because
that we
he has to sit in his bedroom with his mags.
Parties on Young versus Cornelius. Step forward, please.
Financial controller Lucinda Young says she loaned Aaron Cornelius money and even adjusted his tax deductions because she felt sorry for him, but he won't pay her back.
Ms. Young, I gather that you work in the accounting department where the defendant works as an employee. Is that correct?
I'm the controller.
According to your complaints, he came to you and asked to borrow $168. That was a personal loan. You gave him $168. He hadn't paid you back.
Right.
Is that it?
That's it.
You say it has nothing to do with a personal loan.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, let's hear what your defense is.
My defense is that she had told me that the government was taking too much money away from me on each paycheck, that she can correct that by blocking my taxes for periods of time.
What do you mean blocking your taxes?
Basically where the money comes to me now instead of at the end of the year.
So she was going to add more deductions for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say in your answer to this claim that as a result of that, it cost you some money.
That's correct.
How much money did it cost you?
Approximately almost $500 at the end of the year that I ended up owing due to this block.
It's not a block. It's just changing the number of deductions.
Changing the number of deductions, yes.
Well, let me ask you, sir, how did you come to ask her, how did she come to give you this $168? I want you to tell me exactly what happened. She's in her office.
Right. I had approached her and told her that due to what we have did to my paycheck, that it had ended up making me owe at the end of the year, and it was hurting me financially, and she had offered to help. And she said she had wrote me out a check for $168, and I said thank you. And I didn't assume that it was a loan due to the fact that it was her negligence that brought me to this point anyway.
Now you want to tell me your version of how this came about?
Well, Aaron came into my office and said, I've been making payments all along to the IRS. And this was in October of '96, so obviously his tax return, I assume, was filed on time in April. He said, I owe $168, are they going to garnish me? Well, we don't like garnishments where I work because they cause a little extra work for all of us. And, I've known Aaron for as long as he's worked at the company. And I said, Aaron, how much is it? How much do you need to not be garnished? He said, $168. I said, okay, I'll write you a check. Pay me back when you can. Here's $168. The garnishment came through next week, the following week. I said, what'd you do with the money? But obviously that's history now. It doesn't matter.
Okay, but you said to him, here's the $168, pay me back when you can.
He offered to sign a note. In fact, that was the first thing he said before I even offered to give him the money. He said, I'm happy to sign a note, whatever it takes, but I need this money now. I said, you don't need to sign a note. I know you. You've been working here a while. I won't do it again, but...
Now, Mr. Cornelius, do you really believe in your position, sir?
Excuse me?
Do you really believe in this position that you've taken before me?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Well, then let me tell you where you're all wet.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
She explained to you, if I believe what you say, that if you took, let's say, 4 deductions, you would get more in your salary each week, and it would probably be a wash with regard to taxes. You wouldn't have to pay any taxes, and you would end up with more dollars in your hand, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So what happened was, you still got more dollars. She didn't get any gain out of this. You did. If she put more deductions, that means you got more money in your paycheck each week. Why should she have to pay for that? She didn't write a company check. She wrote her own personal check. You still got the money.
Okay.
Now, did you go to her office and say, if I don't send them $168, they're going to garnish my salary?
That's correct.
And did she say to you, I'll give you the $168 because we don't like that to happen, you'll give it back to me when you can?
She had She had said to assist me, yes. She did say she would assist me, yes.
You left out the last part, Mr.
That's
Cornelius.
correct, because I don't recall that part.
Well, she recalls it, and it sounds very logical to
Well,
me.
I have it in an email here that he intended to pay me back.
Because you kept hounding me about it, and I was going to try to
Just a
square it away.
second. Did you put it in a letter to her that you were going to pay her back?
Yeah, because she kept hounding me about it.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $168. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out the back door to your right.
On the next Judge Judy.
I told him $28 a paycheck, 6 paychecks. He won't owe me any more money. You know, I honestly think that if Aaron had it in his pocket and it was spare money he didn't know what to do with, I think he would have given it back to me. But I don't think he has any spare money. I don't think he's had any spare money for a while.
Is claiming her former lover and business partner Charles Romano assaulted her. She also says he owes her money for bailing him out of jail and for a computer.
Order, all rise. Judges number 61 on the calendar in the matter of Lawnborg versus Romano. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Have a seat, sir.
I've read your papers and I'm trying to decipher them. A little complicated. What I gather, Miss Longborg, is that you were both in a romantic and business relationship with the defendant.
That's correct.
How long was the romantic relationship?
We started dating in February of '95, and
when did you go into business together?
June 30th, July 1st of '95.
And that was a pool business?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, sometime in '95, the defendant was using your van.
Right.
Stopped for speeding. He had some outstanding warrants from tickets. And you bailed him out.
Right.
How much did you pay for the bail?
For that one in July, it was $2,050.70.
All right, let's take that one first, sir. Tell me about that incident with the van.
I got pulled over. It was towed due to no license.
No, you had no license.
Correct. I had no license. Okay. I don't think I was arrested that day. I'm not sure. They did tail the van. We got it back. But as I was taking care of tickets, since I had a lot of failure to appears, and these tickets were 5 years old, they decided they wanted to hold on to me when I went in to take care of them. And that's when the bail was. That's when she would bail me out.
Bailed you out and paid the tickets.
Right.
Did you pay her back?
Of course. Yes, ma'am.
Let me see.
Okay. Well, through our business relationship, Mrs. Longmore ran the business and was paying herself back for many other things, but also the tickets. I do have the business books here, which is in her writing.
Your Honor,
just a minute. You say she was paying herself back through writing checks.
To herself, correct. Marked loan payment.
Is that correct?
This was a personal loan guaranteed by him to pay me back from his personal funds, not through the business.
Well, did you take any money out of the business other than your salary?
I have not taken a penny out of the business for a salary. I loaned the business initially $4,000 to buy the first route.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
And $25,000 in January of '96 to buy a second route. The loan payments that are coming out of this checkbook for the business were for the purchase of prior pool businesses. Has nothing to do with his personal legal problems.
There came a point in time, I assume, when the two of you romantically separated, and I assume at that time...
There was some disagreements. He's a very hostile and angry person, and very manipulative. He lived in my home with his children. In my home, I cared for them and paid for them, and I did many things for him, and he did some things for me, helped me take care of my daughter, and I had a zero tolerance for drug use, and he came home one time after he'd gotten stoned with his buddies, and I had packed up all his stuff to move him out, and when he came home, he just packed it, he just moved it right back in and said, never do that again. So that was October of '95. So I've been patiently trying to resolve these conflicts and working on it, and it's just been very difficult. He's very manipulative, and he knows my vulnerabilities, and he presses on them.
Were you paid back all of the money that you put into the business?
No, ma'am.
You told me it's about $29,000 that you put into the
Plus
business.
the van, right.
Plus the van.
Which he's sold.
Did you sell the van?
Yeah, she signed the pink slip in a bill of sale. It was paid for. I didn't sell it. I traded it in. I bought a pool truck.
I changed the name after the assault where he beat me up.
When was that?
This particular assault was December 19th of '96.
Was he arrested for this assault on you?
He was, yes. And he made bail. And the person that bailed him out that time got paid back within 10 days.
What happened with that case?
He pled guilty on June 16th, and he got 1 year and 5 days suspended sentence, 3 years probation.
Is that correct, sir?
Here, if you want to know what I got, I'll give it to you right here.
I do know. I want to know if you pled guilty. You don't have to look in your papers for that.
I didn't assault her, first of all.
You didn't assault her?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
But you pled guilty to it?
Yeah. He beat me up 3 times within a 15-hour period. He made bail and went right to my apartment and beat me up again, and that's when he stole the van the first time.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
There's pictures and everything. It's
incorrect.
There's a huge case down in India.
Mr. Romano.
Yes.
You pled guilty to the assault. Is that correct?
No, those charges I don't know what I pled to. It wasn't those original charges. I was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, which I was.
What was the deadly weapon?
Supposed to be a bat.
A baseball bat.
My child's bat.
No, it's a Louisville Slugger.
Where did he hit you with it?
On the leg right here.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
You have to have witnesses in order to establish that to me.
Phone numbers. Give him a call.
You give him a call. That's not my job. My job is to hear this case, sir.
And later today,
Miss Marion, you can collect cans in the street and get $15 a week. You have to work and earn $15 a week because you have an obligation.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Former business partners and lovers, Lauren Lonborg and Charles Romano, are fighting over business debts, a computer, and bail money.
Miss Lonborg, right now I have on your side $2,060.70. Now I'm going to hear about this cross-complaint. Mr. Romano, you are cross-complaining against her in the amount of $2,100 because you say she wrote letters to your accounts.
Yeah, she wrote
So let me hear about that.
She wrote a letter, pretty nasty letter.
I have the letter.
Yeah, I've got a copy also. Pretty nasty, stating a lot of falsehoods, making it look like I had beat her up, put her in the hospital for 10 days.
Well, let me take a look at it.
Mrs. Longborg had some stability problems early in our relationship.
Let me read the letter.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you'll come back. Well, you seem to, in a chronological order here, describe not only your business, but your personal relationship with the defendant.
Right.
Something, quite frankly, Ms. Longbor, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would have sent a letter talking about the fact that he beat you up, talking about the fact that you were hospitalized for 10 days.
Because I throw the hospitalization in because that's when a lot of everything happened.
Your daughter, who was 9 years old, died?
That's correct. And I was a wreck. And that's when he took advantage of me.
That is not true. Mrs. Longborg stayed with me after her daughter passed on, and after she got out of the hospital for 2 weeks in March, from March 15 on, because she was getting kicked out of her apartment.
Well,
and
listen to me, it sounds to me as if she has had a very difficult time.
Yes, she has, definitely. And I
mean, you lose a child, that's the most difficult thing in the world.
This child was severely handicapped. She was a special child to me and my children. I love this little girl just as much as anybody. She was taken to my mother's daycare. I treated her just like she was one of my own.
That's all true, but it doesn't give him license to steal everything from me.
Why did you write this letter?
At the time, the DA had assured me that this was going to trial. This was the 5th trial date, and that Wes was looking. I didn't say he was going. I said it was told to me that he may be spending as much as up to 1 year in prison or in jail for these crimes. Wes was making arrangements with his buddies to take over the accounts, which these are incredible estates, and I would not trust his buddies.
Ms. Longmore, there is something disingenuous about what you say to me. I'm going to tell you why, madam. Because if your concern was for the business, a very simple letter to the clients indicating that there may be an interruption in service. I cannot vouch for the personnel who are going to be dealing and servicing with the accounts, and since you've been dealing with me over the phone, I want to let you know I am no longer associated with the business and cannot personally vouch for the people who will be servicing your pool in the event that Mr. Romano is not with us for a year. You instead chose to, in a very systematic way, allow these strangers into your private life.
That was my choice.
Well, now, you have to establish to me, sir, that you had some loss as a result of that.
Well, I lost, it has changed. I lost one more customer as of this letter.
Well, you're going to have to establish to me that your loss of business was as a result of this letter.
Right here. Here's these people. As this gentleman was with me as we're on the route, people are coming out. Hey, what's this letter? Are you going to jail or not?
Now, listen to me, sir. You have to have witnesses in order to establish that to me.
This gentleman right here witnessed. They said, I don't want service anymore. I don't want to get in the middle of this. I'm sorry. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
Now, listen to me. They have to come to court.
They don't want to get in the middle of it. They don't want to come to court.
They may not want to get in the middle of it, but you've established one part of your claim. The second part of your claim is that as a result of that, you lost business.
Phone numbers. Give them a call.
You give them a call. That's not my job. My job is to hear this case, sir. Your job is to bring witnesses into a court so that I can question the people and make a determination as to their veracity and what motivated them and ask them the questions, not somebody who overheard them. That's why we do not allow hearsay in a court.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And later today,
she got a payment once every month. And if she didn't, she sure got on my case and got it somehow.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Former business partners and lovers, Lauren Lonborg and Charles Romano, are fighting over business debts, a computer, and bail money.
Unless the clients are here to tell me that they stopped using your services, sir, because of this letter, I am not entertaining your cross-complaint. I mean, I think that the letter was terrible. There's very poor taste, very bad judgment, and certainly unprofessional.
I felt no other alternative.
She's trying to slander my name for me to lose customers because she has nothing to lose. She is not part of the business. She is no longer part of the business as of December, and she's merely just trying to ruin my name.
How do you determine that?
Miss Longborn. Sorry. I'm not getting into whether you own any piece of this business or not. Certainly, if you owned a piece of the business and you wrote that letter, that would be dumber than dumb. Mr. Romano,
yes, ma'am.
I'm going to tell you right now, I do not believe, sir, that the plaintiff has been paid back all of the money that she loaned the business to start it. You can't even look me square in the eye and say she's been paid back all the money. But that is not the subject of this lawsuit because that's far more than the jurisdiction of this court. I am entertaining your application for the money that he owes you as a result of the personal loan that you made to him for his bail and for the tickets, because I really don't believe that you have been paid back for that. So I'm awarding you a judgment in the amount of $2,060.70. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. I'll back up to your right, please.
I have zero tolerance. You knew that on the day one.
I smoke pot once in a while. Shoot me. You want to do it right now? Shoot me.
Am I done?
And now the next case.
All parties on Olson versus Marion. Step forward, please.
34-year-old Brenda Olson is suing her childhood friend, Nikki Marion, for not repaying a loan. Nikki says she doesn't have the money or a job.
According to your complaint, Miss Olson, the defendant was a childhood friend of yours. And there came a time when she needed some money and you lent her money. Correct. She refuses to pay you back. So tell me about the loan. When was it made? Why?
Well, she came to me. She was back payments on her house that she had just bought and then her car had been breaking down and stuff. So she needed some money to repair her car and to catch up on her house payment so she wouldn't lose her house. So I borrowed her the money on one of my credit cards.
How much money?
At the time, it was about $3,098. As time went on, she paid, wrote checks to my credit card and everything was going good, and then she wrote some bad checks to them, and I got bad credit over the deal. So she written them an apology letter, which I brought with me too. And she got my credit all good again, and then she started sending them money orders. And just recently, like about 4 or 5 months ago, she lost her job, and she told me that she just couldn't pay me anymore, and so I asked her to borrow the money from her parents because I couldn't afford to pay it all off either. And if I would have paid monthly, I would have been ending up paying more than I ever borrowed her. And she told me that she asked her parents, and her parents said no, and that she just wasn't going to pay me. So I told her I was going to take her to court. She said, well, get in line with everybody else that had judgments against me. So I felt hurt because I did it as a friendship thing and wasn't going to see my money.
How much money in total does she owe you now?
Now, with the whole total, probably about $3,600.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see the proof of that, please, and I would like to see the letter of apology that she sent to you. Thank you. Miss Marion, how come you borrowed this money from your friend? You did borrow it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Well, how come?
To have my car fixed and to make some payments on my house.
Wasn't there anyone else you could have asked for the money? Relative? Parents?
No.
Why?
My parents won't borrow me money.
Have you borrowed money from them before?
Years ago.
Did you pay them back?
No.
Is that one of the reasons why they won't lend you money again? Okay. So you went to your friend, and she lent you the money.
Correct.
So why don't you pay her back this money?
Well, first of all, I don't have a job, and I have no income.
Why not?
Because I was laid off of my job of 7 years.
When?
In November.
Let's talk about before November. You weren't paying her back before November.
That's not correct. Prior to November, I was paying her. I was giving her cash and money orders when I could.
When you could?
Well, she got a payment once every month. And if she didn't, she sure got on my case and got it somehow.
You seem to have a resentment when you say she got on my case.
Yeah, because this is I don't know, it's a rivalry for us. I mean,
why?
Because it's back and forth. I've lent her money, she pays me, I've lent money, it's back and forth. It's been for years.
How much money did you lend to her?
Over the years, I don't have a true record of it. We've known each other since we were little kids.
I'm talking about big money, Miss Marion. I mean, did she ever borrow $1,000 from you?
No. I'd say in the hundreds.
Paid you right back, though.
And she paid you back?
Yes.
Well, that's the problem. What's your excuse? What's your defense to this case?
I don't have a job, and I can't pay her the $50 a month that she wants. And when I lost my job, I called her and asked her if I could pay her less than that, and her attitude was fine.
That's what the interest is on the credit card.
And then 2 weeks later, she calls me, and all of a sudden, I'm taking you to court, and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't ask to never pay her. I asked to pay her less until I got a job.
She has to pay these bills on her credit card because this money was borrowed on her credit card.
She chose to put it on her credit card. Thing is, I didn't go up to Brenda Olson and say, Brenda, please borrow me money. Brenda knew my situation. Brenda offered to borrow me the money. How she chose to get the money, how she chose to get the money was her choice. If she chose to put it on a 17% credit card, that's her choice. I didn't ask her to do that.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
How much are these monthly payments that you have to make?
At least $60 because $35 is interest alone. How are you ever going to get it down?
So you have to pay at least $60 a month. Most of it is interest, but some of it is principal.
Sure.
$60 a month. Now, I'm not really good at math, but that comes to a little less than $15 a week, right? $15 a week. Miss Marion, you can collect cans in the street and get $15 a week. So you can't tell me that you can't work and earn $15 a week. Doing something. Do you understand? You have to work and earn $15 a week because you have an obligation. And this lady doesn't look to me as if she's rolling in dough. Doesn't look to me as if she's living on a trust of $1 million. Do you work?
I clean houses on my hands and knees.
And how much do you get a day for that?
Well, usually about $35.
Very good. Why don't you do this? See if one of the people that you work for can give her a day's work.
Yeah.
She could just go to work one day, clean somebody's house, and madam, you will have your monthly payment to her after 2 weeks.
Minus the $50 a day daycare, I'm negative $15.
Just a second. Let me ask you this question. Work out an arrangement with a friend of yours so that one day you watch your friend's child and one day they watch your child, and you go out and get a job, and if it's cleaning houses like the plaintiff does in order to get her money, that's what you do. We understand each other? Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,600. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Thank you.
Have the back foot to your right, please.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, we know each other forever. We did. We hung out together like all the time.
I'm hurt. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's a love-hate.
Like
It's going to be
sisters
till the day we die. So this is just another chapter in our life.
Is suing boyfriend Oliver Thies for assault and property damage. He claims he left Christy because she was too intimate with one of her massage clients.
Order. All rise.
Now, this is case number 72 on the calendar in the matter of Nelson versus Thies. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Miss Nelson, I always get nervous when I see somebody bringing in their papers in shopping bags.
Well, I just had to bring in my evidence of my broken stuff.
According to this complaint, listen, according to this complaint, you met this past New Year's Eve at a party. And you moved in the next day to her house?
About 3 days later.
So you were sure that this was going to be it?
Looked pretty good at the time.
And Miss Nelson, you allege in your complaint that things went from bad to worse.
Yes.
That you lent Mr. Thies a lot of money.
Yes, I did.
And that he became jealous, obsessive.
Yes.
Destroyed all your property in a fit of rage. You want $5,000.
Yes.
He says that nothing could be farther from the truth. You destroyed your own property when you were in a fit of rage, and he wants money from you, including his moving costs.
Okay.
So far, is that the case?
Yes.
So, let's hear your side of the story.
Okay, well, basically, he moved in with me, and everything was good in the beginning, but I do massage for a living. I'm a masseuse, and he started accusing me of sleeping with my clients when I went over there, and so that caused a lot of problems in our relationship, and I said that's far from the truth. I invited him to go with me on my massages to these people's houses, and he went with me, saw nothing was going on, and still accused me of that, and so things got worse. He started physically hitting me, hit me in the chest when I was in the car once and pulled me forward and demanded my money, and so of course I gave it to him. I was scared, and he
demanded what money?
Money
true,
out of my
Judge.
pocket. Yes, it
Just
is.
a second. Just a second. I'll get to you.
And so that was just one incident. He's also given me a bloody nose. He's hit me upside the head.
So when did you
It's too
decide
true.
that you had had enough, madam? I mean,
well, I needed a few
you know,
more abuses.
to me, if somebody is thinking about putting his hands on me, that's enough to throw his behind out the front door.
I always thought that too until I was in a situation. I thought I was madly in love with him, and I thought that things
How
would
could you
get
be
better.
madly in love with somebody who
Well, because
beats
he's
you?
very charming.
There's nothing charming about giving you a bloody nose.
Yeah, that's true. But, and then he went through
There's no buts there.
Rages, yes, it's true. And destroyed my property. He destroyed my camcorder, $1,000. I haven't even finished paying this yet.
How did he destroy your camcorder?
Some sort of tool. He stabbed into it and then busted into a million pieces. He found a phone bill of mine.
Not true.
I had my cell phone that he destroyed.
And so tell me how that happened.
He was saying, you were calling all these guys on your phone, or I see it on your phone bill, I called all these people, and you're cheating on me and all this stuff.
It's not true, Judge.
I haven't heard about the loans that you made to him. You said you made him loans.
Yes. I gave him, I have a receipt here from the real estate guy saying that I did give $1,000 for the down payment on a house, or to hold it, and if it didn't go through, that I would get the money back, but I didn't get the money back. He took it, and he says it right here on this piece of paper right here. I also have...
Can I see it, please?
It's not true, Judge. I never said anything on a piece of paper.
Just a second.
Oh, you did too.
Hey, can I see it, please?
Yes, and then there's checks right there of what he owes me for things I bought him for his window washing service and for the DMV that I paid for his car insurance.
Okay. All right. Now, let's see your side of the story, and then we'll get to this money.
Yeah, it's like you said, we met on New Year's Eve, and we thought things were going to be, you know, nice. It was going to be a nice relationship. At least that's how I thought it was going. And, you know, she decided that she was going to be doing massage, telling me how she just does legitimate massage. Now, we moved into an apartment complex called the Marina Harbor Apartments, and where this apartment was located was right next to a laundry room. So I could be in the laundry room and actually look into the living room and see everything that was going on. And she wasn't just giving massages. So, you know, I told her I wasn't going to hang out with her anymore.
How do you know that?
Because I saw it for myself with my eyes.
You're telling me that she was being indiscreet in your own home, with you home?
Yeah, as I was. Yeah, she's just telling me she was doing an in-call massage, and it wasn't a massage. And she just completely humiliates me constantly.
Well, let me ask you this question. So when did you see that?
This was back in April.
When did you separate?
Mother's Day.
I tried to separate from her that day, and she came running after me, telling me how, you know, she was sorry and this and that, and she just needed to make some money because that's how she makes a living, and she's been making a living like that for 4 years. She's been arrested twice for that kind of a charge. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Have you been arrested twice?
I have been arrested, but I have not been convicted of anything.
What were you arrested for?
Prostitution.
Go ahead.
So anyways, you know, at that point, our relationship kind of fizzled out, and she took it into her own hands to try to keep me around any way she knew possible. And I actually tried to stick it out for a while, and then I just got fed up and I left, because she continued to see this Taiwanese guy from Taiwan, and she just wouldn't let it go, you know. And, you know, I've talked to this guy, I've confronted him, and he's a complete weirdo, you know, and he knows that we're boy and girlfriend at the time, and he just won't stop. And she's all into this guy. And I just got fed up. I left. In her fits of rage, she would throw things at me, and I don't know. She's trying to get money out of anybody and everything that she can. And she's trying to get money out of me.
Let me ask you this question, sir. Something that you said to me doesn't make sense, and I really don't understand it. If I saw somebody that I was in love with, living with, having sex, which is, I assume, what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
With somebody in my house, I wouldn't stick around.
I didn't. I left.
No, you didn't. You came back. You said she told you to come back, and you came back.
Well, when you live with somebody, you create, you know, emotional bonding, and I had some real strong feelings for her. You know, so you can overlook a lot of things when you have emotional feelings for somebody. So that's what I did. And I know I was very deeply hurt, you know, and I'm still very deeply hurt. And
well,
that's why we're
there are
not
a couple
together
of
now.
lessons in that, sir. One of the lessons is you don't meet somebody on January 1st and move in with them on January 3rd. That's very dumb.
Yeah, this is LA.
That's
though.
very dumb.
Yes.
This is LA. This is still part of the universe, the last time I heard.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You forget that I'm 12 weeks pregnant with your baby, okay?
Well, it
Now,
could
what are
be
we
the
gonna do?
Taiwanese
No,
guy's
I'm not having
child.
sex with Taiwanese, all right?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Oliver Thies denies he damaged any of his girlfriend, Christy Nelson's property, or that he assaulted her. He claims Christy owes him for emotional stress during their relationship.
Not everybody who lives in LA are cretins. They're mostly very smart people. Most people who live in LA do not meet somebody on the 1st and move in with them and set up housekeeping on the 3rd. Find out, according to you, that the person to whom they've given their heart is a prostitute, right? And then stick around.
Well, I didn't find out she was an actual prostitute till about 5 months later.
That's not true.
When she actually told me she was arrested and her past life, and that's when I found out, and that's when I was out for good.
Did you ever take any money from her?
No, I never did.
You took $1,000 from her to put down as a down payment on a house. What do you mean? That's a well is not an answer, sir. Make sure I get everything truthfully from you. Did you take $1,000 from her?
She did give me $1,000.
Just a minute, now we're getting to it. She did give you $1,000.
But I've given it back to her.
Well, How?
Just cash. Give it back to her cash.
When?
That day, as a matter of fact. Because I already had enough in my bank account to cover that.
Well, why would you let her give the $1,000 in cash if you gave it back to her the same day?
Well, why would she want to give $1,000 up anyways?
Because we were getting a house together.
Is that an answer?
Well, we didn't get a house together, so I gave her back her money.
This was a very bad idea for the two of you. This was a very bad idea for the two of you.
Anyways,
Here, give this back.
I am now,
I have no IOUs with her. If she has anything that says I owe her anything,
well, you know what, Oliver?
then she can show
you
that right
forget
now. But
I'm 12 weeks pregnant with your baby, okay?
Well, it
now,
could be the Taiwanese
No,
guy's
I'm not
child.
having sex with Taiwanese, all right?
Miss Nelson, Miss Nelson, listen to me. You're not going to resolve the fact that you are pregnant and the parentage of that child until the child is born. Do you know that? You understand that?
Yes.
See, now she's just trying to get money out of me any way she can, because she's trying.
I also have a tape here, it's him admitting that it's his baby. And him giving me threatening messages that he's going to bust my face into a million pieces if I don't get an abortion.
Listen to me. What does that have to do with the price of tomatoes?
Well, that just has to do with how violent he really is. It's his nature. And he did destroy all my property.
Did you destroy any of her property, sir?
No, I didn't.
How did the property get destroyed? All that
I
stuff.
have no idea. Probably the Taiwanese guy, when he got mad, he found out she was trying to keep it a secret that I was her boyfriend with this guy. Okay, guess who she's living with now? Ask her. Taiwanese.
That would be
He's a
interesting.
midget.
Miss Nelson.
Oh, you are
He goes to
Miss
USC.
Nelson, sounds to me as if the two of you made some very serious mistakes, and quite frankly, neither of you has record sufficient to demonstrate to me whether he owes you money for loans. He says he paid for your car. You have any proof of that, sir?
Of?
That you paid for her car. That's one of the things that you're
I just gave her
cross-claiming
cash
for.
all the time.
So you have no proof?
It was good faith, and we were getting along back then when I did give her money.
I can't rely on your good faith because neither of you has too much upstairs. It's the truth.
Judge Judy will continue. And later today,
You're unlucky that you don't like women. I'm sorry for you. And it's your loss, Eddie, that you've lost all your children, all right?
Oh, really?
You don't have another chance.
Okay.
It's
See
too
ya.
old.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Oliver Thies denies he damaged any of his girlfriend Christy Nelson's property or that he assaulted her. He claims Christy owes him for emotional stress during their relationship.
When I read these papers initially, I said, he's probably pretty nutty, living with somebody who he says he saw having sex with somebody in his house. But if you've been arrested twice for prostitution, maybe there's a possibility that he's...
And that was 5 years ago. For dancing.
She can't even get her
It was
story
not
straight.
convicted.
It's a little
In
obvious.
any event,
Up, Oliver.
you also want $1,100 for moving.
Yes, I had to get a new apartment. I had first and last month's rent, and it left me with less money than I had. Okay, and I needed a place immediately.
You don't really expect me to give you any money for that, do you, from her? You don't really expect me to do that, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes.
Dream on, sir. Listen, very rarely do I hear a case where I feel as if both people in a relationship such as yours sort of deserve each other. That's the way I feel in this case. You started out dumb, you ended up dumb, probably both a little poorer. Your complaint is dismissed, your countersuit is dismissed. Go and have a happy life.
Are excused, you may step out.
I have a restraining order on him. I want him to stay away because he does harass me. He's punched my friends out, and that's a problem. You know, he's got a really bad temper. I mean, and I still care about him very much.
I saw a short Taiwanese man in there.
Party's on. Razzo versus Winkler. Step forward, please.
After 18 years paying only $75 a month child support, 45-year-old construction worker Ed Razzo is suing his ex-wife, Pamela Winkler, for overpayment.
Mr. Razzo, Miss Winkler is the mother of your son, who is now 18 years old?
19.
19?
19.
And you are suing her for $3,000, almost $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
I've read your complaint. I would like you to tell me why you're suing her for $3,000.
Well, I figure she owes it to me.
Oh, let's go back so that we have the story from the beginning. You had a child together.
Right.
You were never married.
No.
And you were under a court order to pay support.
Yes, ma'am.
Child never lived with you, I assume.
No.
How long had you been under a support order?
For 18 years.
And what was the support order?
$75 per month.
$75 per month. Is that what it always was, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
She never took you back for increased support.
No.
So then there came a time when the child turned 18.
Yes, ma'am.
Start from there. So what did you do?
I felt that my obligation for child support was up, so I did not pay after his 18th birthday, and he had graduated supposedly
from high school.
From high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a month later, I got a letter, a late notice, saying that I was still to pay.
Okay.
So
from the court.
From the court.
Not from her.
Not from her. From the court.
So what did you do?
So I continued to pay after this month, and they said if I didn't pay, they would yank my license.
Your driver's license?
My driver's license.
Okay.
So I continued to pay.
Okay.
And meantime, they did yank my license, come to find out.
So, then what happened?
So I paid up, and then I had got pulled over for making an illegal turn, and they impounded my car for 30 days.
They, the police?
The police.
You paid, according to you, an extra 6 months.
Right.
Is that right? Altogether?
Altogether.
After the child reached 18.
Right.
And this was because you were told to do that by the state?
Yes.
Now, I'd like you to tell me, so 6 months times 75 is what
Yes,
you
ma'am.
say you overpaid.
Right.
That's $450.
Right.
So now would you please tell me why you're suing her for $3,000?
Okay, well, the impound fees, which was close to $500, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and missing work for a month, not having my vehicle.
What kind of work do you do, sir?
Construction.
And how much do you make a month?
I usually make $500-600 a month.
$500 to $600 a month?
$500 to $600 a week, excuse me.
$500 to $600 a week? So you make at least $2,000 a month?
Right.
What I'd like to know is how you got away with paying $75 a month child support for 18 years.
You would have to ask her. She never went in to boost the child support, I guess.
People who are on the minimum wage maybe pay $75 a month in child support. Someone like you doesn't pay $75 a month in child support. You were given a gift for 18 years. Did you ever hear the word chutzpah?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
I'm going to tell you what it means. Do you know what chutzpah means, Bird? Chutzpah means gall. You got a lot of gall suing her for anything.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
I know you haven't opened your mouth. It's not necessary. Thank you. If the state of California made a mistake, and as a result of that, your car was impounded, and you lost work, go sue the state. What are you suing her for? She's raised your child on pennies that you've given her a month.
Now, wait a minute. If they would have asked for $200 a month or $300, I would still pay it.
Just a second. You're a father. You don't have to be asked. You're a father.
Yep.
You're not supposed to be asked. You know in your soul, sir, you're an intelligent man, that $75 a month is an inadequate amount of support for you to contribute for a
She
child.
lives a lot better off than I do. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's fortunate, sir, that she lives better than you do. I'm telling you that this lady doesn't look to me as if she is driving around in a Mercedes, right, and living in a palatial place. And I'm telling you that if she didn't bother you over the years, you ought to give her 2 medals and mention her in your will, not bring her here to sue her. Your lawsuit's dismissed, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Back over to your right.
And on the next Judge Judy.
He wanted me to get pregnant, and then when the baby was born, he said, Pam, put your maiden name on the birth certificate so I don't have to pay. We started with the pay thing from the get-go. That's right, the woman's always right.
See ya.
See ya.
See you in your next life.
See you
baby.
not in the